And we're back.
Arvin, if you want to be serious about streaming, put some stuff on your streaming stuff.
I know. Wow, you seriously gotta fucking work on your layout, Arvid. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Going back and trying to figure out things. It just so happens that the groups that are mentioned in the SEC documents happen to be the highest paid groups of victims of terrorism, which first off makes no sense because they're military, and military live on kind of like humble economic damage. Like their economic damages are very small as compared to civilians who were working on Wall Street on 9/11.
Right, because damages are calculated on the basis of income you
Economic
didn't
loss,
receive.
right,
Yeah.
lost wages.
Yeah,
And so, oddly enough, these military, as compared to the 9/11 civilian widows and children killed on U.S. shores, okay, not serving overseas, not in hostile territory, civilians killed in America at work, innocent civilians, have received less compensation in this fund than these groups who just happen to also have this exposure to these third-party investors and hedge funds, okay?
Okay.
So the legislation gets written, they're given $3 billion of U.S. taxpayer money to pay this payment that's totally unwarranted, came out of nowhere, was not justified. Senator Menendez wrote the legislation, wrote a loophole in the legislation saying that, quote, successors in interest thereof can be compensated this money from the U.S. taxpayers. I believe the successors in interest thereof are the third-party investors / hedge funds.
Can you imagine investing in the victims of terrorism
It's disgusting.
fund? Well, do you have any
You're
idea?
literally profiting from murder and terrorism, and you're using a Department of Justice government fund that is being billed and sold to members of Congress as a victims fund to compensate victims of terrorism with restitution, okay? And it's being, exploited, and it's being used as like a profit model, an investment vehicle for third-party investors and hedge funds.
Do we have any idea the identity of these hedge fund managers or investors?
No. But I will tell you this. I was able to read in the SEC documents some of the investor groups that were approached by the hedge fund guy from New Jersey. And I cross-referenced those with open secrets and donations, contributions to members of Congress. And I believe there's a pattern there, which is why we
How did
asked...
Menendez do in that group? Was he pretty
I will tell
popular?
you this, that in the SEC documents, there's a deposition of one of the attorneys, and there's a series of depositions, and the initials RM are in the documents. And Senator Menendez passed legislation in 2012 that was also signed off on by President Obama to make the first round of payments to this group that had sold their judgments, many of whom had sold their judgments to the hedge funds. So Senator Menendez's hands are all over this. We turned to Congress. We said, could you just investigate? Could you investigate the anti-terrorism legislation done by Senator Menendez? He's in jail now. Like, it deserves a look-see. No one would do it. This fund that's had $9 billion, approximately $9 billion flown through it
Thank God I
since
have the class
2016,
LP.
has never had one hearing. We have asked repeatedly, very loudly, for hearings. We've begged for hearings. We can't get hearings on this. With all of this information, we met with the chief of the money laundering asset recovery section at the Department of Justice, the person who's in charge really ultimately over this fund. And we're having this meeting and we're like, it's really unfair. The governing statute says that we're supposed to be treated fairly and equitably. It's a United States Victims of Terrorism Fund.
Welcome to the Museum of
Iraq.
Iraq.
Treated equally. Is there a reason why 9/11
Hello there, I'm here about the Shield of Rob. The Shield of Rob, the museum has been searching for that for years. Like King Rold II offered the generous reward for its return. Well, I'm here to claim it. You found the shield, let's have a look.
We don't really have any.
Show half the shield. But where's the other half? I've taken this house from the Phoenix Gang. I wonder if the Black Arm Gang has the other half.
There's too many of you to have equal justice. The word.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't be talking with this lady. She's talking about equal justice for the Supreme Courts and all the 9/11 shit. It's pretty fucked up, man. She didn't deserve any of that. Her family needs recognition in the courts, bro. It's true. Not enough people are getting recognition in the courts. And I feel the first thing that starts off all corruption in society is probably these fucking corrupt lawyers are really just working for the money. It's not a capitalist problem per se. It's more of a greed issue. I kind of don't really agree with the whole socialist point of view of like everything. Just because everything is a money issue means it's a capitalist issue. Like what? Accumulation of wealth for a person's own good is not a bad thing. Greediness is born in the hearts of people. That's nothing you can avoid, okay? For the reward is for the recovery of the full shield. However, what I will write, you have two halves. If another adventurer returns the other shield half, I'll do the same for them. So you can swap on another half full each one. Take that to the king and he'll grant you the reward. Okay, you're a fucking dick. Trade one Easter to cash for the other half with another player. What's this guy doing? Campfire. Oh. Let me go to enter a different world. Gotta go USA, baby! USA, baby! USA, USA, 539, 539, 539! 634. Yeah, switch this world, fucker. Nobody on this fucking world. USA, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're closed off. Switch to this world. Yeah, to just a different world. Let's see, I'm looking at different worlds. I'm trying to run one of these worlds. $4.59. Ooh, hey, biscuit. I have to go drop this at a player's foot and hope he has the other one. You're kidding me, right? It's a collector. Ain't nobody here in this world. Let's ping. Is there one for trading? Let's go ahead and trade this one. Come on, anybody? Let me ask this guy. What's the quest name again? Can you me with Shield of Arav quest? That guy's gone. I need to trade somebody who has the other half certificate. Go over here. Oh, that's not an actual person.
Words on the Supreme Court when you walk in the door is equal justice under the law for all.
Why not take it out of our foreign aid budget?
Well, that's a good question. I will tell you this, that some victims of terrorism in 2020 were paid out of the State Department's defense special budget. And maybe or maybe not, those guys had some third-party investors that ultimately got that money.
Who were they and why were they paid by the State
That was the
Department?
East African embassy bombing victims and the USS Cole victims. The same group of lawyers represent, there's like a cross-pollination of the lawyers. It's like a little cabal of lawyers that work for these victims groups. They're also the same group of lawyers. So they not only created this fund, they've also really played a very strong hand in rewriting anti-terrorism laws in the United States from 1990 on forward. And ironically, all of these laws are always billed after 9/11 as 9/11, for the 9/11 families. But what's weird is that the 9/11 families never benefit or get anything out of these laws. In fact, we get re-victimized. It's kind of incredible.
Wait, so
Let me just say this.
Yes.
So we met with DOJ, and we really thought maybe, this chief person of this department doesn't know about these hedge funds. Like, we need to alert her, right? Like, we need to tell her. And she just got really funny at the end of the meeting. We were like, well, we wanted to talk to you about the hedge funds because the statute says that you need to be a natural person to be compensated in the fund. And even though Senator Menendez passed legislation that allows successors and interest thereof to get compensated, we think it's kind of unseemly, and we're not being treated fairly, and we shouldn't be penalized because there's so many of us. Like, that was one of my talking points. I was like, as someone who fought for the 9/11 Commission, it's not our fault that there's so many of us. It's the United States government's fault because the United States government didn't prevent the attacks and didn't mitigate any of the damage on the day of 9/11. So you're punishing us for our government's failure, and there being 3,000 victims. That's why we can't be compensated fairly and in alignment with the law. And with all of these other victims, you can't treat us fairly because there's just too many of us. And so we say this to this chief of MLARS, and she just got funny. She's like, well, no one briefed me that you were going to bring up the hedge funds. I'm not prepared to discuss it. And that was the end of that. And so I just think that the American public should know that this is the kind of stuff that goes on. And I'd really like to know why, one of the laws that's currently they're trying to get passed right now is backed by the ADL. It was written by the ADL, reportedly.
The ADL?
The ADL.
What do they have to do with this?
That's what I want to know. I want to know why the ADL is involving itself in anti-terrorism laws. I want to know why October 7 victims are in my Congress, lobbying Congress and writing legislation that harms the rights of 9/11 widows and children.
Sam Blader.
How does that
Hello.
Nice
cat.
In the first place, but since
Foo
they are,
sus.
Hamas did the October 7
Anybody
attacks.
trade with
These
me,
individuals don't even have
please.
their own judgments, and they're writing legislation to change this fund, this government fund that's supposed to be for American victims of terrorism. And that's fine.
Okay. It's pretty sad. I'm not listening to that anymore. What's some Dave? I was watching Pollard at the White House. Dave Smith. I love listening to some Dave Smith's opinion.
Monday.com is the one you'll actually love to use. It lets you set up your workflows yourself. No admin, no long approval process. You're in charge.
I don't have time to set up workflows.
Monday also has a ton of templates you can choose from, so you can be up and running in no time.
Sounds too good to be true.
You know that llamas are biologically incapable of lying.
You know what?
Here's a quest
I'm
helper.
ready to fall in love again. Thanks, talking llama.
Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
I almost didn't buy this NFL wallet, but when Black Friday hit and it was up to 42% off, I finally gave it a shot. My old leather wallet was bulky, bent out of shape, and honestly embarrassing. This one, it's slim, it holds up to 12 cards in cash, and the RFID blocking plates mean my info actually stays secure. I added the AirTag holder so I never lose it, and since it's the NFL edition,
That didn't
I get
work.
to carry my team every single day. I bought mine first.
Pringles
Now I'm
left
getting
and
one for
didn't
my
take the
brother, too.
ticket.
No wonder Ridge has over 100,000 five-star reviews. With a 99-day risk-free trial and a lifetime warranty, this is the wallet upgrade that actually delivers. Black Friday is live now. Get your team's wallet today at ridge.com.
Not an ad in 2025 though. Bro, it's fucking YouTube ads, bro. I'm not paying for YouTube Premium. Sorry. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have a fucking the other half certificate for this? For the Shield of Arav? I hope. God damn it.
We'll end up selling
Should I
it
just
during
do
the
another
day.
quest? I
Come
just
see
lost
me,
one of my
Robbie the
certificates.
Fire,
I don't know if
and
I get
Chris
another
Vegas
one.
will
Help
stand-up comedy
certificate.
at
Oh,
the
here we
Poughkeepsie,
go.
New York tomorrow night. Move
Take that.
right away.
Give me that
Grab
shit
some
back.
tickets for that late
Fucker.
show. These are my
I-
last 2 stand-up shows of the
If
year.
I did, I'd
I
help
always
though.
have a good time
Oh,
there.
what a
But,
what a
and
fucking
KFC
sweetheart.
comedy
Thank
where you
you.
can go for those tickets. And joining me today, as
Let me
always,
slow this
is
shit
the
down.
beautiful lady who I will be up there
Sorry,
with.
I need shit in the background to play.
I'm doing
to
excellent,
react
and I have
to.
a couple more dates this year, starting with you can go to my website.
I like Dave Smith.
bobbernsonscomedy.com.
He's
Check
a
the
good
links. The
commentator.
dates might not be accurate 'cause I'm a retarded person,
Okay,
but
well,
they're all
maybe
there.
I'll just do another.
Sam Tripoli, end of the year in Jersey.
Let me
And
call
then,
out for
I
help
have
one
3
more
dates
time.
out
Maybe there's
in,
somebody here.
Colorado. One is in Denver, which is a Sunday.
Plus,
Steamboat to
anyone
come ski with me.
trade
Where are you and Tripoli doing in Jersey?
for
The
shield
dojo spot.
of
Oh yeah.
our house?
What dates are you guys doing that?
Plus,
New Year's, so I guess.
Oh, you're doing it New Year's.
December
Oh,
31st
okay.
or
So I was
gonna
gonna say,
cost
maybe I'll
some
pop
bills.
by
So
your show.
anyway.
Not doing New Year's. I'm taking New Year's off for the first time in years, but that's awesome, dude. Tripoli's the
have
man.
you
Oh my
tried
God.
the
So much fun having the part of the
SOACC?
problem,
Brother, I have
pay-per-view.
no
Which,
idea
by
what
the
you're
way,
talking.
we
Brother,
will,
I just
we will
started
at
this
some
game.
point
I'm like
talk
5
about
hours
that.
in.
I'm not sure exactly on the timing of that.
I don't know
If
how
you're,
long I'm in,
us
but
to
I don't know.
talk
Like,
about it,
I used to play this game in
Friday, Monday,
2007.
Tuesday,
I haven't played
you
in
don't
like
have
the
to, we
longest
will
fucking
get up
time,
there.
and I don't remember anything. Grouping menu. The grouping menu should mention it. Oh. Trade. Let's trade them. Try the SOACC. I have no idea what you're fucking talking about, brother. Oh, what the fuck? That thing just blinked at me. It's where everyone goes for help with this quest, and it's sequel. Oh. Interesting. Look it up. Oh wow, look, they said that your shit isn't helpful. They said fuck you. Ba-ma-da-ma-ba-ba-da-ba. It helped me when I used it 5 years ago. Well, I appreciate the help anyways. I guess I'm just have to struggle out for somebody. Hey, maybe I get my brother to hop on just to do this quest for me. Yeah, let me see. Maybe I try a different world. Worst case, making alt to do it. True. Well, for now, I'll just go to another quest. I'm sure I'll... Let me make sure I put this in the fucking bank. Let's see. Play this shit.
But you get a little bit early access if you go pay pay-per-view. So, sorry.
I was
a lot
on.
of things to
I
cover.
paid for it.
Rob pays me for every episode that he's on. Rob, this is right.
Like the
If you wanna watch
bankers. Maybe
every
do the
episode,
Romeo
pay for it.
Juliet one. I was doing that.
And then I charge
Sword
you per
faggot.
week if you wanna watch-
Fight.
I still go back
Bahaha.
and see, did I say this?
Lol. A B dog. Hey, is everybody?
You
Oh
know,
wait,
there's
maybe
another
one of these
thing
guys
about
will trade.
it.
Hold
I
on,
guess,
hold on.
look, there's gonna be some that's
Anyone
on the same theme here,
help with-
which is Jeffrey Epstein,
What is it?
because this is such an interesting moment.
Shield.
Trump has now
Of
flip-flopped 5 different times on this issue and bungled it, and now
Half
we just got
a
this
thing
bill
plus-
that's been signed into law to release some of the files. We'll see what ends up coming out of any of this. But I guess there's just, as I mentioned the other day,
Anybody?
there is
Come on, one of them will respond. The odds you're gonna find someone else that half you need or randomly is very low. Yeah, bring it! Or bogus!
Really taken a hit
Where you at?
last year.
Where you at?
And
Daddy.
his
Where you at,
administration-
daddy?
I mean, it's like the biggest political conversation right now is about
Come
a
here,
mega
noob.
civil war, about this internal
Outside the
division.
bank.
You have a situation where, you know, Rob,
Oh,
in 2016,
let's
for
fucking
example,
go!
there were some divisions in the Democratic Party. They, you know, I don't know, Bernie Sanders was running an insurgent campaign, if you will, and it had a lot of energy. It was breaking fundraising
Bet you
records, it was
can't
drawing
work
huge
better than me.
crowds,
This
a lot of
is
enthusiasm amongst the
what
youth.
the fuck?
But he would never personally attack Hillary Clinton. In fact, we used to make fun of him.
Come
You
here,
remember
noob.
that
Outside the
Bernie
bank,
Sanders was such a
I'm a
coward
PM
that
you,
he used to
okay?
always- he would
Why
say
did you
in
drop this
debates,
below
"I'm
me?
the only one on stage
No,
who hasn't
how's
taken
that
money
a
from the
flip?
big banks."
Because I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
It's like he still wouldn't say you're corrupt. He would go,
What?
I'm
How the
only
fuck
one.
do I
Like,
follow
he
this
started doing
fucker?
this when there were several people on stage, and then he'd keep doing it when it was down to just the 2 of them. It was very
What?
bizarre.
I wouldn't.
But anyway, it was, you know,
I'm gonna PM you
there
something.
was like kind of, you know, at the time there was,
Oh,
some
God.
there was a civil war within the Democratic Party.
On God?
But it was like a fight.
OG, please. Okay, which God out here
Well,
specifically doing the
you know,
opposite
there
of
were
way I
leftist
say
commentators who
inspired.
disagreed with liberal
Ain't no way.
commentators.
It probably ain't no
Mark
way.
and
This
Tucker
fucker ain't doing
Carlson
it.
More than just disagree.
Okay, go
You
to
know, I
the
think
clan
Ben
chat
Shapiro and
thing,
Nick
then go
Fuentes
top right and
more-
click
they don't
grouping.
just go,
To
"Well, we
select
have a site
activity.
difference of
Dude, is this
opinion on
person
keywords
trying to
and we're
touch me
part
or
of the
something?
same
What the
big
fuck
tech."
is
Like,
going
there's a
on?
civil war going on.
Okay, go to
Trump is
clan chat
bleeding.
next to the
This is a
friends list and
major
go to
political problem
the shield of
for
our.
the Trump
Oh
administration.
shit.
And
Oh
what's it
shit.
all
Oh.
over?
Oh shit. Okay, go to the clan
You know,
chat
people
thing next
say
to the
that,
friends list. Where the
they'll
fuck
say
is the
that
friend?
I'm
Here we go.
obsessed with
Clan
Israel, or
chat.
all I ever want to talk about is Israel or something like that. Believe me, much like I
Chat
mean,
channel. or
think about
clan.
lockdowns, Rob. Think about how obsessed I was with lockdowns. You know, they come up every now
Top
and then.
right
'cause
and
it was a major
click
thing that
grouping
happened
to
there, but, like, I
select
don't know, I'm happy to
activity.
not talk about this shit anymore. But
And
right now,
then
this is the thing
choose
to talk
shield
about.
of
I mean,
our.
the thing that really lost Donald Trump so much support from his own base. I mean, there were two things, right? We said it the other day. It was launching a war in Iran, and it was covering up the Jeffrey Epstein story. Okay, Donald Trump carried the youth a year
Thank
ago. Now
you
he's bleeding. He's down like 50
so
points amongst
much.
the youth. Well, what is that about? What is it that the youth don't like about
Oh,
Donald
okay,
Trump?
that's
Well,
sick.
they
That's
sure
sick.
don't like that he's been facilitating this
Wow, this
genocide.
person actually just.
No, he's
But
been facilitating it for the
SACC.
last 2 years, but since he's been in.
Ah,
he's
he's saying
been
something
continuing to
I
buy
said to
policy.
do. Oh, okay.
I
So
was
this is what
thinking
you were
again with
talking
this
about.
Pollard scandal. It's like, it's just hard to not go like, dude, these all come down to the same.
Oh, what a
issue.
goat.
It's like such a thorn in
Goat.
the side, and it's just interesting to
Thanks.
see how much this administration will just tarnish
Okay,
its
cool.
own legacy over refusing to hold on to that thing. You know, it's like, did I use this analogy? I used this once before, Rob. I don't know if it was about this. But you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson gets his arm stuck in the vending
Yeah,
machine?
sorry,
and
man.
then
Okay,
hours and hours
cool.
later, someone
Dude,
goes,
helpful
he's
fucking
holding
people,
on to
dude.
the snack,
We
and
love the
then he's
MMO.
like,
We love the MMO.
Let's go and get out of it. It's like Donald Trump is
She's
losing
flat
everything,
and you're
but he
fake.
will not
Okay,
let
well,
go
I'm
to this.
about
I
done
will support
here.
Israel no matter what position, and it's wild to see. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's show, which is the Wellness Company and their latest
So-
product, which is the Pain Reliever Cream.
Yeah, of
You know
course.
that stubborn ache
I'll
that
be honest.
never goes
I
away?
tried
The
other
one that
MMOs in the
IC
past, but it was always like
contains
free to play
barely
shit
touch. What
on
if you could
Steam.
target it at the
I
cellular
never really
level
got too
instead
into
of
them,
just numbing
but
it? That's
I'm pretty
exactly
committed
what
to RuneScape
TheraBlue
because
was
it's like the
designed to
first
do.
game I ever
TheraBlue
played and
is
made
a
like an account
next-generation
for
pain
when I was like
reliever peptide
6.
gel that works
So,
deeper than the
alright,
skin's
first time picking it
surface.
up again.
Powered by Aqua Molecular
Should I just
Delivery
add one of these
Technology.
fuckers?
It delivers
Or should I
peptides
just
and
teleport?
botanicals for legit lasting relief. All you do is apply a thin layer, massage it until it's absorbed, and let your body experience lasting recovery. And right now, you can get 10% off
Join
by
the
visiting
CC and you'll find a card.
twc.health/problem and using the promo code PROBLEM. The website is twc.health/problem, and the promo code
Warframe's
is
the best
problem
example
for
of a nice
10%
community.
off. Move freely again with TheraBlue. All right, let's get back into the show.
You just type in the CC, which game
well,
name you
yeah,
need to have.
and the fact that Israel and Epstein are apparently both tied together
Yeah.
does not help.
Where do I type
Yeah.
that shit?
Well, you know, the somebody asked yesterday. We did a members only episode, and I wasn't planning
So
on
for
talking about
you,
it,
you
someone
need
asked
the
question
black
about Jonathan
arm.
Pollard. And I had not seen then. I saw since then that he's actually there's an
What do you mean
interview
by
with him, and then I guess there's some
CC?
reporting that has corroborated this. That it's not just that Mike Huckabee had him
Black
to the White
arm.
House.
Yeah.
It's that evidently Mike Huckabee met with him several times in Israel and has been lobbying for him for years. Pollard says he's like a hero to him.
Oh.
He's a good
Oh, yeah,
personal
'cause I'm in the
friend.
chat. Okay.
He made sure to check in on his wife and like take care of her while he was dealing with his parole situation or whatever exactly the thing was. And it's just like, dude, for people who don't know, because even
So
yesterday
am
when we
I in
talked
like the
about it,
chat channel
you know,
right
like, I knew
now?
Pollard, I'd read
Or
about
if
him a
I go
while back.
to
I knew the deal. Like I knew he was
this
an Israeli
one?
spy who got busted and convicted
Oh,
for it.
CC.
But I couldn't
Oh,
remember.
send
I
it to
think
channel.
you
Oh,
were
okay,
like, wait,
cool,
was that the
thank
time
you.
Israel sold the secrets to the Chinese. Was that the time
Someone
they sold it to the
trade
Soviets? No, it was
shield
the Soviet
Arab
Union during the
with
Cold War.
me,
Like,
please.
just to think about this for a second. So here's the story.
Oh
right?
wait, no, I
You got
should
this
say.
guy Pollard. He's
What was I
spying
say? Let's see.
on
Black
behalf
Arm
of the
certificate.
Israelis,
What world am I in?
bringing back like military secrets for them. He gets caught. He gets
Korea,
sentenced
too?
to life
Okay.
in prison. He does 30 years and gets out. Now Israel takes the information and they traded it to the Soviet Union in exchange for them.
Oh, Black
allowing a
Army.
bunch of
Oh,
Jewish
okay,
Russians
cool.
or it might not have just been Russians. It might have been like Soviet, satellite countries. But like for to allow emigration of a bunch of Jews to go to Israel. So like again, really take a step back and think about that. The Cold War,
Oh shit.
lasted
Certificate half.
from 1945 to
For-
1991. In this war, in this Cold War, which by the way, it's called the Cold War, but like there's several hot wars in there, like the war in Korea, the war in Vietnam. These are all part of the Cold War. And now think about what America did during the Cold War. We spent trillions of dollars
Go
on
ahead
wars,
and bam.
trillions of dollars on military, like crazy military Pentagon budgets, defense, whatever you want to call it, budgets.
See.
We fought proxy conflicts all
Hopefully
over
somebody's
the world.
able to-
We had our CIA topple democratically elected governments. We had our CIA topple non-democratically elected governments. We funded the Contras in Nicaragua and shipped cocaine into the United States of America. This was all done, under the banner of fighting communism. Okay, like there's as William F. Buckley himself said, right? In order to fight the Soviet menace, we have to erect, and I quote, a totalitarian bureaucracy within our shores. It was the justification for the military-industrial complex's existence. Essentially, we gave up on the American experiment because we said the Soviet Union was such a big bad threat. And then you get a spy gets caught handing off top secret, not like. It wasn't like information that was like, oh, like, whatever. This was something you had to be an FBI agent to have. Like, top secret information. A spy gets caught handing that information over to the Israelis, who then give it to the Soviet Union, your enemy. That was the reason that we sacrificed so much. And you're telling me this guy was not only was he not, but like, the result of that wasn't that this guy gets publicly executed and then Israel is cut off forever and never considered an ally again. Oh, no, none of that. In fact, they still get unconditional support. They get more foreign aid than any other country has since that time. They get more diplomatic cover and military protection than any other country has since that time.
They said World 32
can go to the White House.
330.
Like as I said, you think about that, like,
Museum.
People could try to paint it out like, oh, you got to be some type of Nazi to have a problem with that. You got to be some type of Jew hater to have a problem with that. No, any self-respecting man would find that to be an intolerable disgrace to his nation.
All right, there you go.
What can you even say about that? Please, someone explain to me what the other side of that argument is, by the way. Like, who even has an argument on the other side? And I don't know, it's just one more example of this whole thing collapsing.
Well, don't pause and look to me to defend this.
Rob,
I
you
don't have
take the affirmative.
Okay, where's the museum again?
Story.
Yeah, it is something though, right? Like, I don't know, there's just a certain point. I guess what it all comes down to, Rob, is that just like in a decentralized media environment, that type of shit just can't stand. It's just too juicy of a story. It's too easy for someone like me to explain. And it's too, it just leaves everybody else with like, well, there's no counter argument to that. It's just obviously correct that at the very least, that should have been enough for us to say, you don't get our foreign aid anymore, Israel. And by the way, one more little thing that I'll throw in there, the support for Israel up until 1991, like say between when America really started.
I'm trying to find where's the museum. Shit.
1967
Am I stupid right now?
91. What was the justification for supporting Israel, Rob? It was to roll back the Soviet Union. That was the whole thing. In fact, and this is what Benjamin Netanyahu used to always say. By the way, you know how Benjamin Netanyahu said, like, I guarantee Iran is 5 years away from a weapon like 35 times. And you know how he said, I guarantee that if you overthrow Saddam Hussein, like, positive reverberations will sweep the region. Well, he also said back in the day, before he was going by Benjamin Netanyahu, I forget his original name. Back then he said, if the Soviet Union ceased to exist,
Can you meet me outside the bank?
Point back then. So basically, because he was just always saying whatever he thought Americans wanted to hear to keep sending them money.
Lost,
and so that was so they were using the excuse that Israel was a hedge against the Soviet Union, as Israel was delivering top secret American information to
top
Soviet
right
Union.
of Iraq. Oh shit!
What was the cell of?
I made myself look like a fool.
Yeah,
What, this idiot can't find his way around? Get him out of here. I don't want to trade with this fucker.
While we were partnered with the Taliban to take out the Russians in Afghanistan.
Yes,
Kinda gets
so
confusing.
no, so the Mujahideen was fighting against the Saudi-backed commie Afghan faction. So yes,
Yeah,
we were
I'll come to
fighting
me.
over communism, right? Like, so that was the whole thing.
I don't want to leave here since I'm right outside the bank. Just wait for this fucker.
Cost of the Cold War. We've trained
Shake my
and armed Osama bin Laden on how to lure
kick a player from
superpowers into
CC. Is that really
unlimited conflicts
happening?
in third world countries. I don't know if that ever did that come up again, Rob? Like that was another little cost that we had of the whole the whole Cold War there. But yeah, and then of course, like just like a whole bunch of different conflicts that we were arming both sides of wars and all types of shit like that. But anyway, so I mean, it was like the whole, you could get into the whole like Carter Doctrine and
Okay,
that was
this
all
guy
about
can come
Soviet
here
Union
now.
too, and that's really what got us
Fuck
like
it.
more
Here's where we're going.
embroiled down in
I'm gonna
involvement
be
in
a
the Middle
three.
East and all of this stuff. There has been on the topic. We'll come
Oh
back
my
to
guys,
that.
this guy said no. I'm just chill here.
Video that's been going
Okay,
viral
I'm
that I
coming.
thought was just
I'm
too
coming.
Fascinating to not talk about on the show a little bit.
Coming.
And this really speaks to
Oh, here we go.
how removed the establishment is from where like the pulse of the country is. You know, so it's a theme that comes up a lot on the show because I find it to be very interesting. It's part of the reason why they're unable to like adapt to this new landscape. And there's you know, they'll say things where they don't even realize that they're giving the game away. You know, we've all had that in our lives, you know, where someone slips up when they're lying about something or they get caught.
This guy seriously just give me
all
the.
of us could probably think of several examples where, you know, someone kind of said the quiet part out loud. I mean, that's why there's a, you know, there's a saying for that, saying the quiet part out loud. But talk about, I've never seen an example quite like
what?
this, of just giving the game away without even realizing that you're doing it. Like, and all it would take would be like,
Did he give me the other half?
Slightest like nanosecond to just go.
Did he get the Phoenix
let me
half?
think
What?
about How this would be perceived by the people who disagree with me.
Don't specify which gang you need. I did specify which gang I needed. I said I had Black Arm member.
And we're podcasters. And me personally, I do a lot of debates also. And so you live in this world where there's like constant feedback. You know, like if I say something that our audience doesn't like, they are very quick to tell me that they don't like that. If I have a joke that the audience doesn't like, they're very quick to let you know that they don't like that. So you always kind of have to be thinking about like, how do I persuade this person? How do I keep them here?
Wait. I'm being stupid.
You're like, I'm Obama's speechwriter, so I can do whatever I want. So anyway, here is Obama's speechwriter talking about what we might describe as a free market in media. This is her big problem. But here she is. Her name, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name here, but it's Sarah Hurwitz. She's one of ours, Rob. And she's talking about, you know, the new media landscape.
Oh, okay, cool. You gave me that one.
Since October 7th, but really before then, there have been huge shifts in America on how people think about Israel, and I think that is especially true.
I'll just give you the other one, just as courtesy, I guess.
Generational divide here, and I think that's particularly true.
Thank you, sir.
And this, you know, it used to be that the media.
Yeah, I guess he had both. What the fuck?
American media, and it was pretty mainstream.
Yeah, they got it. He's just like a local guy. He just has everything you need. Oh, you're looking for this thing? I got you. Ghost Tank over here. See you later. Shit. Okay. Well, let's go to the quest thing.
And so while in the 1990s, you know, a young person probably wasn't going to find
Create
Al
the
Jazeera.
certificate. Okay, now I use this.
Today, those media outlets
Combine the two certificates. Now I follow one.
Less and less text, more and more videos.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, side thing. Oh my god. Let's see. Dr. King Rald at Varrock Castle. Say less. I could probably go through here. Finally finish this one. Got a goddamn shield that hopefully I can use. Get running, pal. Get running. Sally Mae, what a homie. You are not King Rald. Oh, there you go. Here's King Rald. Greetings, your majesty. Yes, citizen. Do you need something? I'm here about the shield of Arav. Oh, shit. Is that the certificate? My goodness. This is a reward offered by my father many years ago. I never thought I would live to see the day that someone came forward to claim it. It was quite the undertaking. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help from a fellow adventurer. Of course, by you. Oh, no, he thinks he can use the shield. Shit! God damn it. I'll grant half the reward to you and half to your companion. That means 600 coins you enjoy. Oh, is that guy just farming for the other half? So he can make money? Is this his, like, farm? This fucker. No way. No? You don't think so? Okay, well, whatever. I'll take the 600 coins. Just to help people. My God. 600 GP a quest is bad. Hey, bro, it's just the starter quest. It's the starter quest. Even he can get the reward again. Yeah, I'm sitting here cutting a log for 3k each. God damn. Okay, well. It's okay. It's okay, we're just starting off. It's just a little baby quest undertaking. You ever play Quest for Glory? The old CDI game. You logs like 200 each. Damn. So watch my brothers play this MMO called The Moo. That was a good game. A good MMO they used to play. Let's play that shit on a laptop. Okay, well, let's look for another quest to do now. Yeah, these are the real starter quests. I'm not doing all this bullshit. The goblin diplomacy. Fine, go get me a goddamn onion to make it orange dye. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now, bitch. Let's see. Unless that's a field onion. Find some quests. See, this level 15 combat. I'm trying to look for more combat-y quests. Maybe like lower leveled ones. But I'm just like too weak. I just need to mine for the rest of my fucking life in this game right now. Knight sword. Yeah, level 20 combat. Imp catcher. I have a yellow bead. I just need to keep killing some imps, I guess. Dragon Slayer 2 is a lower level combat quest. Okay, homie, okay. It's Dragon Slayer 1. Oh my god! Why Dragon Slayer 2 fucking lower level? You're capping. You're capping. Hey, yeah. Oh my god! No, trust. It's an early game. Trust. Trust. Oh my. Along with Desert Treasure too. Let me look this one up. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, these are like super. Oh my god. How much hours do you have in this game? Let me take a guess. 4,900. Okay, I was quite a bit off. Talk to the drunken dwarf. What you want, motherfucker? I knew you may. I'm good stuff. Oh, you just give me a fucking kebab and a beer, homie. Haven't checked in a while. Okay, I really need to get like equipment upgrades. I feel like the best way to get equipment upgrade is by getting the mining and smelting skill up. So should I just spend my time grinding that for a while? Should I just maybe should look for some mining quests, some shit? Yes, but no. Okay, Yoda. Mining ones. You want to grind money anyway? You can buy off the G. Buy it off the G. Over here. Yeah, I'm broke. Let's see. Plague City, Giant Dwarf. What the fuck? Forsaken Tower. The game prints money everywhere though. I feel like it's just early on, you're just broke. I'm sure I'll be less broke later on, right? Doing this fucking cheap party quest. Holy shit. The cow leather is like 400 GP. I remember my brothers used to farm cow leather or something. I thought it was like 20. Okay, let's see. Corin, Klein of Corin, short, 2019. Oh, that doesn't seem too far. Spinning flax into bows from your 66 GP. It's not at all that fun, but it'll get you money. Cowhide seems easier. What else is there? Heroes class. Chill. Giant dwarf. Fuck. I think I'll just focus on the mining stuff right now, so I could at least. Dude, I'm kind of. I haven't encountered this issue. Sorry to ask you like a newbie, bro, but if like my mining XP is like level 22, am I able to equip like a higher level pickaxe, like a black pickaxe or whatever, or do I have to have a higher mining XP? No. Okay, sick. Okay, I should just use it. Okay, sick. So I'm better off just selling a bunch of cowhide and then buying a nice ass pickaxe. Oh, you have to have a higher attack. Okay, so it goes off your attack stat. But you can really make up to steel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to get like my smelting up or some bullshit. Or I guess it is my smithing. I need to get this up to level 15 so I can finally at least do iron and shit. The trying to get the smithing XP up seems pretty fucking exhausting compared to the mining. The mining one, it seems like all I really need to do is just mine iron, right? Go over here. What's Plague City? Maybe look up that one. Smelt your ore and hammer that into anything. Yeah, I just feel like it's kind of annoying since you have such like a small inventory space to work with. Is there a later way to expand your inventory or no? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll look at some quests right now. At least some ones that'll give me some mining XP. Okay. There we go. Another slice of ham. That is, yeah, okay, I'm not ready for that one. What's the other one? Plague City. Go. Oh, that is far. God damn. Well, I know how to get there at least. It's a little bit of a journey, I dare say. I haven't gone really south this way at all. Maybe I should explore. Fuck it. Looting back holds 30 items, but you can't freely take them back out. A log basket. Oh, that's sick. I gotta get myself a log basket, goddamn. Huh, that's interesting. Looting back holds up to 30 items, but you can't freely take them back out. Interesting. Just trying to figure out what that means. Shit, I'm about to walk my ass all the way over here, huh? Plague City, here we come. Let's see. This really seems like the one I can do. Plague City. Give me 2,000. Is that really like even a lot? where's my YouTube?
So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with
TikTok
video
ruined the
of
brain.
crimes in Gaza.
Okay.
And this is why so many of us can't have a sane conversation with younger Jews, because
Oh, it's
anything
about
that we try
Gaza,
to
man.
say to
Not
them,
sad.
they are hearing it through this wall of carnage. So I want to give data and information and facts and arguments, and they are just seeing in their minds carnage, and I sound obscene. And, you know, I think, unfortunately, the very smart, I think, bet that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education, in this new media environment, I think that is beginning to break down a little bit. Because, you know, Holocaust education is absolutely essential. But I think it may be confusing some of our young people about anti-Semitism because they learn about big, strong Nazis hurting weak,
Exploring,
emaciated
definitely
Jews.
great.
And they think, oh, anti-Semitism is like anti-black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless black people. So when on TikTok all day long they see powerful Israelis hurting weak, skinny Palestinians, it's not surprising that they think, oh, I know, the lesson of the Holocaust is you fight Israel. You fight the big, powerful people hurting the weak people.
Rob, I mean, I literally, I saw a bunch of people were sharing this video, and I saw them saying the quiet part out loud, blah, 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 really steps in it. Just let them talk. They
Ported
destroy
for
themselves. All that. And I clicked on it, and I go,
would that
how
be
bad
for
can this
dude to
actually
you?
be? And it's like,
Oh shit, I'm going backwards. I'm getting all cabazzled. Frazzle dazzled. How do I get rid of
the fact that she actually ends it with
I guess Sally Mae will always be right
the
here
real
in my corner.
problem is that, like, we taught everybody about the Holocaust and how bad
Sally
it was.
Mae.
Like, now they're
From
mad at
Leisure
us when we
Suit
do it.
Larry.
Like, these people got the idea that the lesson of the Holocaust was that a big, powerful government shouldn't be able to systematically destroy a captive people. But now they're
gonna
applying
keep holding
that to
it.
the
I guess
fucking
I'm just gonna keep going
Palestinians.
this way.
How does that make any sense,
All the way
Rob?
over
Why
here.
should they get treated like that? Oh, is it like the fact, even as she goes, like, they're
Whoa,
you know, like,
guy,
all the other
don't
parts
get
are
stopped
bullshit
by a
too. Like,
fucking
they're
tree.
looking at these horrible images, whereas I'm trying to argue with facts and data and statistics. It's like, yeah, that's actually not really what's happening. They're looking at these horrible images, then you're shrieking, you're a bigot.
Okay, this
and they're
gate's
going,
open for me,
I
right?
don't know, the
I'm a
person
G.
defending this horrible image doesn't have any moral high ground to call me names. That's what's going on here. But the idea that, like, you would go, hey, yeah, you know, everybody has this idea in their mind that the really evil thing is the person with all the power.
Is this
destroying
where
the
I
person
start
with no
grinding
power
my
at all.
agility?
Man, that really came back to bite us in the ass when we had all the power.
Oh, hey.
Like, you actually, like, if you, I guess the point is that
Hey,
if you just for a
the clap over to
second
get it.
thought about the other perspective, if you
Hey.
had ever grappled with it, then you wouldn't say this out
What's
loud
in
because
here?
you realize how terrible this
What's
sounds.
in these
And
crates?
so it's just funny because it's like, as they're having, like, the topic
As
of
if anyone
conversation
would
is,
willingly-
how do we deal with this thing?
I always
And then
see
you go,
things like,
well,
oh, level
look, isn't it
50,
obvious?
35
You're never gonna
agility.
deal with it until you at least
Like,
try
oh,
to
shit.
understand it. Which
Yeah, I remember there's like
is
one
very
whole obstacle
self-evident
course
that
at the
you have
beginning
not
that
even
gets
made
you
that attempt.
one level of agility at a
Any
time.
thoughts,
Oh, I got so many thoughts, but we'll
No
start
one's
with
saying
what
what
you were saying there,
anyways.
which is I didn't realize that Holocaust education wasn't actually anti-genocide.
Is there any real
and
point
what,
to
I guess
it?
What she's saying is Holocaust education was about.
I mean, like, I've seen some
empowering
places
the Jews
that have like a
now
little
they're
60.
justified in no matter what. And I don't think that's actually what she's saying.
Left for
Her
one.
problem is she's lacking an actual argument here. So when she says people are
Try
seeing these horrible
300 per
images
level
on
after the
TikTok,
80s.
and so
Oh
therefore they're too
my
emotional about
god.
this for an argument, I would
Yeah,
love
that
to know,
seems
well, what is your
awful.
argument?
How else are you
Talked
even
about
supposed
before.
to
During COVID,
is there
when
any other
people
way
were early on
to
were hearing kill grandmas,
level
kill
up your
grandmas,
agility, or you just have to
videos
keep
of
doing
dead
laps?
bodies in the streets, supposedly in China or whatever,
That's
people were
torture.
really-
Yeah,
and
sure.
people were terrified. You had to step in and go, I understand that you're seeing these.
Dang.
But firstly, there's a cost to this,
Right.
which is every person's business being closed. And let's actually look
You
at
know,
the
man, you have a
data
very
and see these
Usopp
images
vibe.
justify this response.
You
Oh, it's your
you get a little
fault.
big
So
nose.
brag
There.
forward.
Man, I had to do it one,
Person
two,
dies,
12,000
brag.
times.
Also, see a single instant or some
Yeah,
freak
Cap.
instant of a healthy individual.
Did
Here's
you?
the cost of
Proof.
locking up healthy
Proof.
individuals. You're actually gonna have more of the thing you don't want. That's called an argument. So she says here, hey, you're looking at these horrible images and she won't hear my argument. Well, now you have to actually put forward what your argument is.
Grim
If
Tales
you have a
Quest, I can't do
justification
that
for
shit.
why
I ain't cool
this
enough.
activity is not genocide and it doesn't fall
Any
into
XP
what we were
calculator
trying to
tell you
teach with
actually.
Holocaust education,
Yeah, my brother's
you
telling
have
me
to
it's like
actually explain it.
500
To
hours
just say,
per
at least the
level
way
if
she
you're
said
trying to
it
max
here,
it out.
Holocaust
Damn,
education
bro.
was not actually
A lot
about
of
teaching
grinding.
people that we're not supposed to engage in genocides, and we were wrong in the way we educated people because it was really just supposed to be about special treatment
You
for
ain't-
Jewish
you ain't
people
gonna fuck
because they
with
had to go
me.
through this one thing. You're lacking.
Oh,
You're
shit.
lacking an argument that could persuade anybody, and you're just kind of.
Oh, shit, this wolf's crazy.
I mean, this
Oh,
is it right
shit,
now.
get me outta
Jews have a
here.
Special right to engage in activities that
Get me
nobody
outta
else can
here.
engage in. And why? Because this one thing happened 87 or whatever it is, 90 years ago, 80 years ago, 70 years ago. I'm bad at history.
Okay, now get over the fucking.
Yes,
Can I not get
80,
over this little
45,
range here?
and
What's
we're
going on?
25. Yeah, 80
Oh,
years
they have
ago.
to go all the way down
In
here.
fact, it
I'll have to
ended
go
80
down
years ago,
here.
Exactly. Yeah, and I would also just add to your point, which I couldn't agree with more, but I would
Oh,
also
there's
add just, like,
rocks
the
in the
level
way.
of hypocrisy.
Can I just not cross
and
this
the
whole area?
contradictions here,
Do I have to go
and
all
of
the way
course, it's
around?
not
I might have
that
to go all the way
shocking, because
around.
essentially what they're doing is denying a genocide, and so they come out sounding just like the Holocaust deniers. And like down to
If
the
I
like first of all,
boosted do
right,
it.
she goes, well, you're looking at all this, imagery.
10,000 to
but,
68
imagery
laps
can
if I
be
boosted do it.
misleading. It's like, who do you sound like? Who do you sound like right now?
Oh,
By
it's
the way,
only
did they not
9,000?
Bring to the Nuremberg trials videos and photographs.
To
of
90.
the
If I do
corpses?
my current
They-
course
they
to
do
9.
every
Oh,
Holocaust
dude,
museum,
you just
they
cut it by
have photographs and
3,000,
videos,
bro.
right? Like everybody does
I
it.
ain't
Do
no
they not- sometimes
Costco
they play
mom, but that sounds like
images
a
of
fucking
October 7th.
steal.
Everybody does this. You do it too. It's just only right now you're deciding, oh no, that one didn't count because it was a Palestinian baby crying out for their mom who's laying dead next to them with their arm blown off or whatever.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, oh, okay, so now all of a sudden,
Bro keeps
you're not
tying me
allowed-
back
like,
into
that was one of
reality.
the other things that was really,
Please, I'm trying to play
something
RuneScape.
over the last 2 years is that if you, you from my perspective, like I remember this very clearly, but I'm sure everyone paying attention does. But it's like, so whatever we're
What's
in now,
about the
it's
Heroes
November
Guild?
of 2025, right? So it's,
I ain't
it's
cool
2
enough to
years
go
and a
there, am I?
month after October.
Okay, let me
7th.
see if I could go like
And
fully around this
you,
goddamn
So
mountain.
for the debates have been going on this whole time. I mean, I think I debated Laura Loomer like a few weeks after October 7th, and then I've been doing debates about this.
Yo,
the
does
whole
this
time.
guy have a
And so
mind?
the debate went the
No
whole
way.
time.
Let's go down here.
The pro-Israel side was like October 7th, October 7th.
Oh, let's go
how
into the
horrible,
light.
how awful a tragedy it is.
Into
and
the
so forth,
light!
you know what
Oh,
happened,
the
you
halt.
got Hamas.
You
Like,
can't come
and
in here.
then somewhere like a
Why
year
not?
in, they started going, oh, all you guys can say is
Mountain Doors, how
horrible,
would you
how
like
horrible,
if
do you
I
condemn
shortcut
this?
to your
You know,
home?
That's how it started. It started with you
Shortcut
saying that. And then you
somewhere.
did something 1,000 times more horrible. And now
Wolf
we're all talking about that.
Mountain, it's the
Like,
Wolf
what do you-
Field
so the
Pass.
hypocrisy is
Oh,
just
it's always
outrageous.
good to hear.
And then I do think there's something else here where, it's funny because, again, on the theme of
You
hypocrisy,
a brother?
Benjamin Netanyahu is openly talking about his campaign to influence American discourse. And they're they have to get to Elon. Elon's a friend. We have to use him to shut these people down. We got to pay influencers. There was the reporting on the $7,000 they get per post or whatever. At least some of them do. They're having retreats and
I'm
meetups.
bigger than you. Let
They're
me
buying
buy.
TikTok. They're doing everything they can to
Stumpy.
influence the conversation.
Go
And very
away.
openly, they
You're
don't
not going to
pretend
bully
like
your
they're
way
not.
in here.
But then anytime there's opposition, it's always like, oh, that's got to come from
This guy not gonna let me in,
foreign
fucker.
influence. Like, do we need to present any evidence to that? No. There's like I remember Laura
How about I
Loomer
talk
presented
them?
one
Or
document
fight him.
that basically showed that like a Qatari firm, like I think it was like a PR firm, was setting up an interview between Tucker Carlson and like a Qatari official.
Okay, well, fucking see you.
That's the extent of the evidence they have, that Qatar is behind. Like, what is that? It's nothing. It's nothing at all. But that's enough for Mark Levin to call him Tucker Carlson, every day on Twitter. But like, so you sit there, like, the whole thing, like she starts with, it used to be American media. Meaning it used to be controlled media, and people wouldn't find people
what's
like
up,
this.
girl?
But now it's social media, which is international, and all of them hate Jews.
Okay.
So you're all being fooled by a bunch of foreigners. Except wait, Nick Fuentes is American.
Oh, woodcutting
Kim
level
Zones is
9. Wow,
American.
great.
Tucker Carlson is American. I'm American. Theo Vaughn's American. Joe Rogan's American. Like, so
12,000.
many of the
It was
people
about
that
3K,
they're
okay,
getting
bro?
their information from,
It's like
on their shows. These are all
I'm only looking at the
so
first
we
2
have to consider
digits.
other than we just witnessed a genocide in 4K.
In what
and we're
universe?
forced to
In
live
my
against
universe.
that.
Yeah,
It's like,
okay.
they come up with this alternative explanation when there's just a much easier
Let's see,
explanation.
maybe I
which is that,
take
no one else-
the-
like,
David,
Maybe
this
I
is the
just
point.
need to
That was
find a
bad
different
Holocaust
fucking
education.
quest.
We were educated to the fact
I
that,
am so
you should
weak right now.
estimate
It's so
people in
hard in the beginning of
populations.
this fucking
And,
game to get
that was because we
strong.
had bad teachers when they taught us about
I
the
must get
Holocaust,
strong.
and really the lesson was you're just not allowed to do it to
I
Jews.
will
That
go
was what the lesson
mine
was supposed to be.
my ass
That sure
off,
does
I
sound
guess.
like it. And in a way, like, look, she's not really saying anything different than I'm saying, just saying it in different words. But she said
I'm
point
so
blank,
fucking
she
weak
was like,
right
look,
now.
like, 30 years ago, or however she said it, you would have had to walk into some obscure bookstore to hear a view like Candace Owens's.
Just do
right?
waterfall quest.
You
Retreat
wouldn't have
no
heard that on
village.
TV or read that in a respectable newspaper, but now you can hear that.
See,
Okay, but like,
Druids
what
are-
is that?
let's see.
Stated differently, the same thing is like, oh yeah, now they get to
The
hear from the
witch's
other
house.
side, and you can't win the argument once they do. Like,
Let's see.
you're saying the same
Quest,
thing
quest,
just
quest,
in different
quest,
words,
quest.
and then adding in this like ominous like, oh, but it's foreigners. Like, I mean, look,
The
obviously,
witch's
like,
potion one?
there's
Is that
not
what you're talking
zero
about?
foreign influence on anything anymore. Like, we live in the technological age, and yeah, like, I don't know, Piers Morgan's show is one of the biggest shows in America, but it's broadcast from London or wherever they do it. I think London. Okay, but like, so what? What does that mean? And of course, then again, Trigonometry is a big show that's also out of the UK, totally on the other side. That's never an issue. But
Oh,
the
an
point is just
onion.
that, like,
Okay, how do
the
you bring in the
idea
following? An
that
onion.
young
I can find
people
it at Fred the
have
Farm.
been like fooled
Farmer's
into opposing
Farm.
this
A rat tail. One I
by
get from Small
seeing
Rat.
it with their own eyes is just a what an angle
Okay,
to
that's
go with
ass.
Hey, we gotta re-educate on the Holocaust.
What,
about
all
the
the, what does it
specialness
mean
of,
when it's
God's chosen
highlighted
people
in
and why
red?
everyone else is actually expendable.
No, the witch's
yeah,
house.
you know, there like
got it.
there is also the other thing is just that like this is an Obama speechwriter, and it just does show you how much of this
Okay, yeah.
is in that world, like thinking like this. Again, it's just it's you know it reminds me.
Oh,
of,
I did part of it.
when the UFC first started. So when the UFC first started in 1993, the idea of it, which was very exciting, it's what I got. This is what I got super into because I just find this fascinating. But the idea was like, hey, there's all these different styles of fighting. Let's see which one actually works. Like, let's see what actually works. You know, like
Okay.
when I was a kid,
Where's
there
the
were
witch's
like
house at? Let's
karate
see.
dojos and
think it's all
taekwondo
the way back
dojos
over
in every
here.
neighborhood. Everyone had like this, you know, there was all these
Lumpage
debates
Swamp?
about like Wing Chun versus Kung Fu, like what would
Oh,
actually work in
shit.
a fight. And then there were the traditional sports like boxing and wrestling, and then there was like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And what ended up happening at the beginning was like all the
Gotta
sports where they
teleport back
spar
home.
just dominated. Like it was like it turns out what works in a fight, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu works, boxing works, kickboxing works, wrestling works, Muay Thai works. And part of the reason was because those guys fought regularly. Like the Taekwondo guys, at least back then, and a lot of those like little specialists, like I do Wing
Yep.
Chun and I have a crane kick. that
Wing
will
Chun
explode
has to
your
be a
heart.
fucking
They-
joke.
They never
No
actually
way, that's
fought each
real.
other because they'd say, "I'll kill you with my bare hands if I ever fought you." So they were completely unprepared. They'd get in there, get punched in the face. They'd never been punched in the face before. They didn't know what to do. And so you just, I don't know. I feel like there's a similar dynamic where, like in our world, we just fight all the time. We get the pushback. We have to incorporate that into our worldview. We have to make our arguments stronger. They are coming with this.
Oh, it's
The
all the way
problem is
back
that they can
here?
see
Oh,
it.
shit.
And so these young people are against it. I mean, like, let me tell you something. For all you people out there who are essentially saying like the young generation has been swept up
Oh,
in
it's all the way back
anti-Semitism or
here.
something
Oh my
like
god,
that,
I did not
the
need to
idea,
travel this
you know, they
fucking
invoke,
far.
like, the Nazis had this idea
Oh
that, like,
god.
the young generation are like these cold
On the
like,
road
Jew haters or
again,
something like
going
that.
to places I've never
When in
been.
reality, it's just that they're fucking young and idealistic and bleeding heart, which is what you're supposed to be when you're young. Like, I guess my point is that if you think this is bad, you don't want to see a society where your young people see this genocide committed in 4K and don't care about it. That would be actually a much more like dangerous sign for your civilization.
Why does it say these enemies are up
whatever.
to
It's just-
level
it's crazy
33?
how much like we live in the upside down world where the fucking
Are you pranking me?
the people who are against the genocide get accused of being Holocaust deniers, and the people denying a genocide are talking about Holocaust remembrance. What a weird goddamn time to be alive. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's show, which is Mars Men. Mars Men is designed to help free locked testosterone so your body can actually use it. No synthetics, no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize energy, focus, and strength. You know, I could tell you as a 42-year-old, you definitely feel that you don't recover quite as quickly or have as much energy as you used to when you were younger. And nationwide, testosterone levels have been plummeted. So this is a great product that supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina. It's made in the USA and it's third-party tested. Plus, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's really no risk to you. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it, you get your money back, but over 91% of users reported higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. And for a limited time, our listeners get 60% off for life and 3 free gifts when you use the promo code PROBLEM at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com, promo code PROBLEM at checkout for 60% off and the 3 free gifts. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about it, so please help us out and mention that you heard about them right here on the Part of the Problem podcast. All right, let's get back into it. Anyway, unless if you have anything else on this, go for it. Or
We got hella clips. Let's cook.
All right, what do you think we should go into next, Rob? Because we
Speed this up. Why the fuck is
we got a few
my
good ones here. I mean, I
Twitch
guess
not
we could
working?
go, the Jasmine Crockett one is pretty goddamn fun, and this is back to the Epstein story. Let's play. So Jasmine Crockett, who is the dumbest member of Congress, the dumbest person to ever be in Congress, she put her foot in her mouth the other day. This was really, I mean, this is I don't know if you've ever argued with a drunk woman before, you've come across things like this, but it really was just remarkable. So let's play this clip.
who's been on defense over Jeffrey Epstein is Stacey Plaskett. She represents the Virgin Islands. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein the day of Michael Cohen's hearing. Her questions pretty closely followed the text messages between the two of them to ask about Rona Graff, Trump's longtime assistant. You were defending her today, yesterday, and you talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC.
Mitt Romney.
George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet
Weren't
secretary.
they all
He was
making
on
like
set
backroom
Jeffrey
door,
Epstein,
like
doctor
backroom
with the
deals or
relation to the
something?
Convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people?
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Just so that people understand, when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had.
I mean, you almost got to respect the balls on her. Like, that is, there is a lie that, because, like, such a bold-faced lie where you go, all right, I'll give you credit for that one. Like, that takes cojones to just say that one out loud. Like, to not even have, there is a thing, I will say this, it's very Trumpian of her. This is the type of thing Donald Trump would do, like, where they just be like, he'd be like, after 9/11, there were thousands of Muslims celebrating in the streets. They were so happy about 9/11. And then someone asked him in an interview, be like, you claim there were thousands of Muslims celebrating in the streets. Like, there is just absolutely no evidence that ever happened at all. And he'd go, well, a lot of people say it happened.
Look on this potted plant.
But this is just, I mean, it's even bolder than that. To just go, she stood up, and like, yes, she did say, well, you got a donation from a Jeffrey Epstein. But like, are we actually, like have you ever been in an argument with a woman like this in your life, Rob? Because I have a few times, where you're just like, you almost say a thing, and then you're just like, all right, are we really doing this now? Like, you're obviously, the whole point here was that you were saying they took money from Jeffrey Epstein too, and she could just say, she goes, yeah, that was a mistake by my staff. We were looking into that. We got that one wrong. You know, like, but she kind of, I guess, just knows in politics, like, no, you never act like that. You always act like you're right no matter. I don't lie. That's what Republicans do. You just got caught. What are you talking about?
Now, I don't even really understand the new lie, because now she's trying to argue that she was up there saying we can't just hastily dig into the Epstein stuff, because if we do, you can Google search it and get the wrong donors.
Sorry,
and then therefore think that certain people received money who didn't actually receive money. So, what do you say? Should we not look into the Epstein stuff because other staff members might be as dumb as yours and just do a Google search of who received money from Jeffrey Epstein and then realize it's the wrong money? And I'm not sure if campaign money from Jeffrey Epstein is the telltale sign of who we're going to be taking. I don't know how many political donations Jeffrey Epstein made, but I don't think individuals who got donations from Jeffrey Epstein prior to 2018 are instantly going to get thrown out of American politics.
No, it's not even, it doesn't even necessarily reflect poorly on them. It might be an interesting question, like, why was Jeffrey Epstein, wanting to see this person? Yeah, like,
Twitch down right now?
But no, dude, political donations have nothing to do with anything. Political, like, okay, if me or you just send a political donation to a candidate, they will take it. That's what they do. Like, you got to be like David Duke or something like that before, like, someone on your staff might be like, yo, this donation came in from David Duke.
Twitch is down.
In fact, I remember, this was a controversy, the reason David Duke came into my mind. This was a controversy during Ron Paul's, I believe it was his 2008 presidential campaign, where supposedly David Duke sent them money, and they didn't realize, and they took it. And then they tried to, like, get Ron Paul with it, and they were like, are you going to return the money?
No way.
I just always thought it was so funny. He was like, wait a minute, now you want me to give David Duke money? Like, what a weird request.
Why the fuck is Marjorie Taylor Greene quitting?
After election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas.
Dang.
Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives.
It's so annoying when it's campaign re-election mode, because you notice it every time when elections come up, where they kind of clean up their act when they've been doing jack shit all the fucking years.
Down in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. To pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years, they actually do their own grocery shopping and no food costs too much, their rent has increasingly gone up and up, they have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa-holding replacement. The college degree they were taking are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media once again from both sides of the aisle.
I have to keep rewinding it a bit.
My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S.
Yeah, she really is pushing like very like American first policies.
A minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years, they actually do their own grocery shopping and no food costs too much, their rent has increasingly gone up and up, they have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house, they have been laid off after being forced to train their visa-holding replacement, the college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary, they see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets, they can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged, because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God, who created everything in existence.
Dude, that
you see,
is
I have
crazy
never
that she's
valued
actually
power,
doing that.
titles, or attention, in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will like the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never
you
ever
fucking
elect
go up!
Americans,
Let's
then many
go!
Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all.
I like, really? She like... Zero from APAC, bro. Yeah, she did a really good job in Congress. I hope she runs for a different political office or something. Because, like, someone who's, like, has a lot of integrity should really just stay in politics. You know, everybody really wants them there. That's what really people like about Mom Donnie. It's crazy. She really does. That's 100% true. I've always represented the common American man and woman as member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and never fit in. Kind of same thing that Bernie kind of went through, honestly. Man. Let's see. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties. True. Election cycle after election cycle in order to elect whichever side they can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same no matter which side the political pendulum swings. Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. True. The debt goes higher, the corporate global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or illegal labor, by visas or just shipped overseas. True. Small business continues to be swallowed by big corporation. True. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interests. True. The spending power of the dollar continues to decline. True. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents must work in order to simply survive. That was their plan all along. I hate polyamorous people because I bet they're going to want to introduce fucking polyamorous marriage. It's going to give people like 3 to 5 different reasons to tax one household. And today, many of today's children and generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream, which breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020. I've fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again means America first. I've been the most conservative voting records in Congress. Defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies. I believe God creates life. Conception, strong, safe borders. I fought against COVID, tyrannical insanity, mandated mass vaccination. I've never voted to fund foreign wars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly resulting in the House not working for the entire time. And we enter the campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-elections mode is turned on. This is a pretty big, important statement here, too. Is my Twitch working? Let me stop the Twitch and reconnect it. Hopefully that's working now. Hopefully that's back to working. I don't know if it is. Yeah, what was I saying? Let's finish that second. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save American healthcare. Oh my god, my ear. Chill. Go ahead. Go here. Is there like an agility area I can go do laps at? Okay. Oh yeah. However, with almost a year into our majority, this legislator has mostly been sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongfully resulting in the House not working for the entire time. We are entering. Oh wait, not working for the entire time, and we are entering a season which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on. During the long shutdown, yeah, she raged against her own speaker. Her own party proactively planned to save American healthcare and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle. True. Yeah, the whole thing with the... I mean, it's crazy. I mean... I'd say the shutdown was pretty ridiculous for the fact that they shut it down over the healthcare when they could have proactively worked on something for the healthcare. At least Republicans could have, but you know they fucking didn't. And you're hearing it from the woman herself, so ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's see. Level 23. Many common America TV page showed post because they know each other's credit card. Because they know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their own bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping, knowing food costs too much. Oh, okay, she's talking about us. I thought she was talking about them. I was like, what? They know their credit card debt? What? I've been blessed before for this. Let's see. Mine to mine. Switch worlds. Switch this world. Randy Fine, shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. Let's see. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help districts' needs. I'm Peach Biden, Secretary of Homeland. After watching my constituents die as he facilitated the dangerous open borders invasion in America and led effort to defund a hard-left politically biased NPR, PBS, and corrupt USAID as the chair of Doge Subcommittee, I fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and the Republicans to power, traveling the country for years, spending millions of my own money, missing precious time with my family I can never get back, and showing up in places like outside the New York courthouse, Collect Pond Park, against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him, who stabbed him in the back and never defend him against anything, have all been welcomed in after the election. I'll never forget the day I had to leave my... Okay, yeah, that was sad. Yeah, I termed for 50-year mortgage scams, strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding release of the Epstein files. Other than my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district interests because our job is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14, trafficked, used to rich, powerful men, should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. Yeah, that's fucking wild. Wild. Marjorie Trader Green because she voted yes on the Epstein files. Fuck you, Trump. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy and my life filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence. You see, I will never have value, power, title, or attention in spite of all of the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold. Too many people in Washington, I believe, term limits. I do not think Congress should be a lifelong career. I respect her stepping down from Congress, but she was only in there for like 5-6 years. She could have been there longer. I have too much self-respect and dignity to love my family. Way too much to do not want my sweet district to endure hurtful and hateful primaries against me by the president. Was it? Only to fight when my elections, while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn, to be affected to defend president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. Oh wait, whoa, hold on. And in turn to be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's also so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battle wife hoping it all gets away and gets better. Man. Yeah, that's totally fair. So what she's saying in this paragraph right here, yeah, why would she want to run for midterms only to have to defend the president from impeachment when he's literally dumping tens of millions of dollars against her to try to destroy her, which is what they're doing to Thomas Massey, by the way. Fucked up. When common American finally realizes and understand the political and industrial complex of both parties is ripping the country apart, not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington machine from gradually destroying our country. Instead, the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power of Washington. Then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to people I love to live my life to the fullest, as I always have. For the new path, I'll be resigning from my office last day, January 5th, 2026. That's crazy. What? He went... No way he actually put that. No way. Oh my fucking god, dude. Magus Cook. She 100%.
I've always been despised.
I feel like people are trying to theorize so much about it, and like realistically, like, dude, this lady just doesn't want to deal with the fucking issue, dude. Like, imagine, like, she's just trying to do the best for her constituency, and then you have the fucking president who's spending millions of dollars against her after she defended him over impeachment, and then she's looking into doing this again. And if she does win re-election, she's gonna have to live with the fact that, okay, Trump just spent like 200 like millions of dollars to primary against her. Not even primary against her. If she were, I mean, shit, I wouldn't be surprised if that situation happened. But he's gonna spend like millions of dollars just so she doesn't win her district. You literally like openly and brazenly see the president throwing money at an election to make sure an official that people support doesn't get what's the word? Voted in. So it's like, yeah, she is right. Why the fuck is she dealing with this hassle? Everyone's making her be part of this shit program, telling her to fix it when, what, like 400 of these people in the Congress are like corrupt as shit and only really care about partisanship in general. Like, she's just spinning facts right now. I can't wait to hear what else she has to say after this, because I was pretty mad at the government shutdown too. Like, I could sense frustration from her of like, yeah, why the fuck is this shut down for 2 months almost, when you really could have worked on the problem that you're complaining about for 2 months? It was completely a power play, which is disgusting. You held so many people's income at play for that.
Washington, D.C. and just never fit in. Americans are
just never looked at JD like that. Boy just had to step with it. My man's standing on business in this picture. Holy shit.
Cool, bro. Like, fuck the past. I just have fun. Feel me? I just have a good stream. Feel me? That's me. I'm kept up, bro. I said the N word before. I got lots of bad past. I said some crazy shit. Oh, got been on Twitter.
Pretty sure that male turkeys are approached by females against.
Let's see.
It's not conservative, but because I interviewed Nick Fuentes, and my point, I said, right, I'm totally opposed to anti-Semitism. Just so.
Throw down some wolf bait like that. Will you love Stalin? What do you mean? You mean you're fascinated how he was able to manipulate people?
Oh my god, dude. See, I find it so funny. So many people on the right are inviting Nick Fuentes on their platform to debate him. It's like you guys broadly agree on a lot.
Think about why is this guy the most popular, much more popular than I am, influencer among young men, and it's because they've been destroyed by us. And that's a freaking fact.
Yeah.
And anyone who doesn't know that isn't listening, and anyone who listens but can't hear it is intentionally ignoring it. And shame on them.
Yeah. My generation, I'm tip of the millennial, the older tip of the millennials and down. Saw that you interviewed Nick Fuentes, and I don't think we batted an eye. We're like, yeah, no, like everybody younger than me listens to Nick
Exactly.
Fuentes. Like 5 million followers, I think, on Rumble.
Exactly.
170,000 live viewers. At any given moment he goes live, there's 170,000 people that tune into his live streams.
I wonder.
Dude,
if
level 15 is a Molten Iron bar. Are you
That's my
serious?
point, is like, is it wrong to get into someone's head?
Quest, right?
And let them say what they believe and give them a platform to do that so that people can actually know what they think, you know? And it's like, why?
Yeah, you know, I always hear such an like these arguments of, oh, why are you giving people a platform to speak their hateful thoughts? Like it's just like you really shouldn't be speaking. Like, okay, well then click off the video, pal. Like, what are you, some big old pussy who just can't handle any like sort of like a conversation? Go like fuck off. Why are you like talking? I mean, I get it, like, oh, if somebody's being rude and they're offensive, and it's like, okay, well, oh man, I just don't really vibe with it. Listen, you don't have to vibe with it. Just don't get on their fucking case. Overall, most people are like, sure, they say dickish things, but overall, some people are just trying to be nice. They're trying. What does it mean? No tree? U tree. Oh, the U tree. That shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on my woodcutting for a while. Deforest this whole fucking place.
Hearing the story of how he was canceled, you know, by Ben Shapiro when he was 18 years old, and it's like, what people.
The evil doing, Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Probably Dean. Because Dean is just more edgy. You know, Dean is really in sync with the youth. He's on TikTok. You know, he deals with edgelords like me or like the Groypers.
Yeah.
Brylan is just like a Fox News bitch. He's just like a raised by...
Do not let the Senate muck this bill up. And if you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your...
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a central point.
Yeah, I mean, he's working very hard.
Keep it going.
The plane takes you 30 minutes, and driving takes you a little. Please.
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City.
I literally, I can't believe she's...
David Duke gave money to my campaign where I'm promoting body, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, cuts a check to one.
I can't believe she's quitting.
Are we ready, guys? I don't know how this is gonna go. Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Man.
Is this AI?
This is already working.
What the fuck is
guys? Guys.
What the fuck is this?
Let me think about it, alright? That's good. Don't throw bananas. Close the door, come on. Oh, he's gonna throw the whole thing. I'm gonna use that later on. Okay, obviously. Hello? What? That's what happens to me.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Breaking news, Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's resigning from Congress, stepping down effective January 5th.
Wow.
She just had this huge fight with Donald Trump. I don't know why in the world she's doing that. The story just broke. She was finally having a positive impact in Congress on the Epstein files, on questioning Israel's funding, on now actually...
She was pushing like a lot of good bills.
And others' bill to lower drug prices. She had begun finally to do some amazing work. I don't know why in the world she's resigning. I don't know if it's, look, here are some possibilities right off the top of my head as the story is breaking live. Maybe to run for a bigger seat. That's, I suppose, possible, but there's talks of
that was my guess.
For governor, and that didn't come to fruition earlier. I don't know if things have changed.
It kind of sounds like she's just like done for a while.
Out. Maybe they found something on her. I don't know. I think given Marjorie Taylor Greene's temperament, that's less likely, right? And it's possible that she's going to go do media or do something that is related to politics, but not actually in Congress. And a part of the reason might be, again, this is all speculation since the story's breaking right now. It's possible that she thinks Congress is useless. We can't get anything done here. All these other guys are totally corrupt. Every time you go to do any bill, like the one I was talking about lowering drug prices, that's actually Donald Trump's executive order that Ro Khanna just turned into a bill so that it could be more effective. So now everybody should join that bill. She joined it. But we can't get the Democrats to join other than Ro Khanna because they say, oh, well, it's not a perfect bill. It doesn't take the disabilities into account. It's Trump's executive order. But wait, it's your policy. It's Democratic policy to have most favored nation status, so we're not paying any more than the Germans, the French, the Canadians, the Japanese, etc., for the same exact drugs where the drug companies still make a ton of profit. The Democrats are like, no, we're not going to join. The Republicans, it's a Trump executive order, and only 4 or 5 of them have joined. Why? Because almost all of Congress is corrupt, and they work for the drug companies. They're lying. They're all liars. So whenever you give them something that's a layup, paid family leave sits at 84% popularity. Give moms 12 weeks off after they have a baby. They're like, no, we're never going to vote on it. We're never going to vote yes. We don't care if it's 84%, 94%, or 104% of the American people. We work for the donor class. So maybe she got frustrated and left because of that. I don't know. Maybe she got frustrated because of the Donald Trump fight. Or maybe she thought she was going to lose her primary, but that would be very, very surprising. She usually likes the fight, and I don't think she was going to. I don't think there was. In fact, we had a story playing today where a couple of outlets went and talked to people in her district, and they're like, no, we're definitely sticking with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so this is a very puzzling, very surprising move. Perhaps she'll soon explain why she did it. But for now, we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene leaving Congress on January 5th. I'm super disappointed by it. If you're a populist, look, I'm on the left. And I disagree with a lot of things that Marjorie Taylor Greene is in favor of. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, she said we should do a national divorce. No, we shouldn't do that at all. That's a terrible idea, right? And I can list many other things that I vehemently disagree with her on, right? But at least she was populist and she was honest. She was honest. She was honest on the things we agreed on. She was also honest on the things we disagreed on. She didn't hide any of her feelings. I'll take an honest congressman over a corrupt, dishonest one any day, and 95% of them are corrupt and dishonest. So anytime anybody that's actual populist leaves, to me, it's devastating. I think it's terrible. You got to stay and fight. I don't know if she'll change her mind or not, but it doesn't look like it. But if you guys, especially if you're a right-wing populist and you like Marjorie Taylor Greene, try to talk her out of it. There's Massey and Green on the right, there's Ro Khanna on the left. And together, the three of them just defeated the other 532 people in Congress and got the Epstein files released. Now we're down to 2 of them? No. Go back in the ring. We need you in the ring. Even on so what I disagree with you on a bunch of stuff, on the majority of stuff. At least you were being honest. At least you were being populist and uniting on the things we agree on. So, look, if you had told me this a year ago, I would have had the exact opposite reaction. I would have been ecstatic that Marjorie Taylor Greene's leaving. But she just made the turn to actually uniting and being a true populist and fighting for things that we care about, lower drug prices, and yes, American sovereignty and protecting American voters and American citizens. This is the worst time to leave. So, all right, but that's the news, and obviously we'll give you updates when we have it.
Through it all,
this is the first time I've ever also seen someone be sad that a congressman is
We
resigning.
only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president.
And they said that they voted for you because they wanted to end the forever wars and because they wanted to deal with the cost of living. Now, he doesn't have to go that extra point and say, and you've been a failure and you conned them on both points. He can just say that first part, and that part is accurate. And Trump loved that. And so their interests really align, where Zoran wants to be able to govern, right? He wants his mayoralty to be a success. He wants to not have the federal government coming after him, stripping his funding. He wants that. And Trump sees that this guy's a winner and that he's popular, and that this is a chance for him to sort of glom on to Zoran's message of affordability and be like, yeah, me too. That's what I'm all about here too. Affordability, build the houses, let's go. You know, I'm all about it. We have some of the same ideas, he said. Griffin, you want to pull up? You got the sort
actually,
of opening.
Before Griffin,
Go ahead,
Griffin does that, I have to run because I got to get my kids to a birthday party. But I do want to make one last point, which is that I think there are going to be some Democrats out there who don't like this, that wanted Mamdani to don't like that he's being cozy with somebody who's doing what Trump is doing around here.
I thought Mamdani was being very, very, very official and stuff like that. I don't think he was being super cozy.
Get Kyle in here. If that's the case, I think he's losing the plot a little bit, because I think that, it's politics is not a sport, and scoring points by owning somebody in person doesn't actually make anybody's life better. Doesn't actually do anything about ICE or anything else that you want done. Like building coalition, building power, and doing things for people, for the broadest set of people that you can. That's what politics is really about. And so, yeah, I think he's wrong there. We'll see, but who knows?
All right, Ryan, you jump in right now?
Yeah, I'll let you guys finish up.
Yeah, I just want to actually read this Ryan Grimm post before he's dropping out, but so that we can keep Ryan's voice
Still
in
with
it
us.
while he's gone. He said Trump and Mamdani giving the country a vision of what bottom v top rather than left v right politics could look like, if not historic, a genuinely novel development. And I'll add to that, both of them from wealthy backgrounds too, which is kind of interesting. Wealthy New York kind of coastal backgrounds, but coming to politics from an outsider perspective, both being totally hated at least after Trump entered politics by the press. And so I feel like I once asked Keith Kellogg, who was his NSA at one point, he's now a special envoy to Ukraine, why Trump seemed to be interested in the Assange case. And Keith Kellogg told me because he thinks Trump sees some of himself in Assange. And I think that's true to some extent with Zoran Mamdani as well. I was watching Trump you could just feel the respect. It was the phrase that Ryan said was in my head while I was watching it, game, respect, game. I was like, that's exactly what's going through Trump's head
That was
right now. He
definitely
just respects the hell out
I
of
think
him.
everybody was feeling that.
That's the other thing that Trump
I mean,
has done.
Zoran really deserved that respect too. His win was he just did it dirty. You can't deny that. You can't deny his historic win.
Now he's the guy who gave
fucking
contracts
amazing.
multiple times to billionaires and surrounds himself with tech oligarchs and does all of
And,
their
I'm not
bidding
even
and
a
is trying to make it
leftist
so safe
at
to
all,
regulate AI and
by
is
any
running the
real
street
mean.
with ICE thugs, masked agents.
But he did a
and
great
is
job. He
blocking
ran
the
a
release
great
of the Epstein
campaign.
files. He is now the consummate insider, and a lot of his fallout and his approval rating and dissatisfaction with his own base comes from that brand damage. So I think also the sense that Zoran is this outsider who did upset the apple cart. Not only does Trump want to go Me Too with regard to his affordability message, he also wants to go Me Too with regard to, we're just, he talked about Bernie. He's like, me and Bernie, well, man, we got a lot in common. Me and Zoran, we got a lot in common. Which again is an extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. This guy, Zoran Mamdani, none of us knew who he was a year ago, right? I guess we were just starting to get to know who he was a year ago, and now here he is in this meeting with the president, and you could tell, and the president is doing his best to associate himself with the ideas and the posture of the mayor of New York. And so that's why I actually disagree with Kyle too. Like, I think this was extremely elevating for Zoran. And to Ryan's point, if your bottom line is like, I need to deliver for New Yorkers, this was the right move. If your bottom line is, I want to have a confrontation with Trump because I think that will help my poll numbers, and if things don't go well,
I think he kept it very
then it
strict,
wasn't the right move.
keeping
But
it
if
to
you're
New
just
York.
focused on what can I do to
Like almost
actually
every
have
other
my
question,
best
they're
possible
like,
job at
New
governing
York,
the
New York,
city,
New York.
I think this went extraordinarily well.
I mean, it literally went as good as it possibly
bending the
could
knee
have went.
to Zoran in this way.
So
I don't know,
that's
to me,
always a
major
good
win.
thing.
It's a major win. And what is the rest of his party going to say? Who've been, echoing Trump and calling him a communist. and
Anybody
saying
actually
things to
mad
his
about
all
that
these
is
sorts of
like
things.
genuinely
And
fucking
he's there like, go
retarded.
ahead, call me a fascist. It's fine. And by the way, I don't think you're a jihadist. And, we're going to get along great. And I'm going to be your partner in making New York City great.
And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against a lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat him, and he beat him easily. And I congratulated him. And we talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built, and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down. Anything I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York. And we've got them down, way down from last year. We have, as you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year. So that's good for New York, good for everybody.
Cool,
but I
I
just want
guess.
to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true.
That's the first time I've ever heard that motherfucker say that. No difference in party. We're united now. We finally have a winner.
Dreams come true. I love it when he slips into, like, he's been listening to his Phantom of the Opera, Elton John, cheesy music, and he just sort of slips into the language.
He's
Making dreams come true.
Amazing. No, I mean, there were so many extraordinary moments where, he clearly is impressed by Zoran's victory. He is giving him, anytime there's a tough question that comes Zoran's way that might be a little uncomfortable for him, Trump jumps in to rescue him.
We've got the fascist clip here just on that moment.
play that one. Let's see that
Yeah,
one.
I'm a little bit worried about the right wing because I don't think I feel like the right wingers are at a point where they need to. I mean, I'm sure they're already at the point of abandoning the whole Republican GOP. But like, is there still gonna be like a real Republican coalition? Like, what is really being a Republican anymore? Rather than just being a right winger. Because at this point, it's either you kind of just have to be a nationalist if you're being a right winger. I think that's like the bottom line. I'm pretty nationalistic.
Including with 86 Democrats, all of them leadership, and the minority leader, Kim Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focus very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing. I understand. I think the focus is on the.
I think a big thing of this too, it's just like, I feel like people really did elect Trump into office just to really have like you need somebody in there to get people fired up to really fix things. And like, while I don't think he's doing like the most evil, worst job, Trump, he's definitely not doing the best job considering he's picking like the Zionist lobbying side and genuinely like most lobbyist side. He's picking the lobbying and donor class over the American people, which he ran on and got the popular vote on. He did complete 180 to the American people. So, I'm not too surprised that, I feel like the Republican Party, like I've been wanting the left-wing party to die off. It really feels like the right-wing party is about to die off, and the left-wing party, I mean, you had this blue wave last time, but I feel like this next election, it's definitely gonna go sway more towards blue, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Cause holy shit, dude, the right need to get their shit in order. I mean, I thought their whole thing was going against identity politics, but now it's just like only identity politics, and specifically white identitarian politics, which is just like gonna lose most of your base. They could definitely win it with American nationalistic politics, but then like, again, who is that American nationalist party? It's mostly white people saying, yeah, okay, well, listen, we have to follow the European Western civilization, this and that. And like, truthfully, nobody cares about any of that because nobody really defines themselves from fucking Europe. We're America. We separated from Europe. So nobody really, like, a lot of people, I don't think they understand this. A lot of people just don't really vibe with that. So they end up being more towards this Democrat side and a lot more of like, the peaceful side. Like, Jesus would probably be Democrat. In terms of like, they used to be like the peace movement side and everything. Let's deposit all that and back to the mines.
Tell you, I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that, and I know there might be differences about ideology, but
yeah, what the fuck was that? What even was that denouncing a socialism thing? Like, what was the point of that? I need to look up what that bill was. It seemed like a retard bill.
Both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions.
Just to put it out there.
Affirming that you think President
We
Trump
don't like
is-
socialists.
spoken about-
Okay.
That's
Okay, you can just say
Okay,
yes.
okay.
It's easier. It's
Oh my
easier
God.
than-
I know there might be differences about
socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of them leadership, and the minority leader, Kim Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focus very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing.
Academic socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions.
Look at that fucking him.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay, you can just say
Okay.
yes. It's easier. It's
Oh my
easier than
God.
explaining it.
I actually thought that moment that when Zoran was like, okay, I think he actually should have been like, oh no, it's all right. Yeah, he should have just kept going instead of like letting Trump be like, no.
Well, and there was another moment where someone was like, he's called you a despot, and Trump was like, I've been called worse.
Because like you go into those questions and they kept asking him.
I love these Trump House office
times, guys.
things.
Like,
right.
Like
They're
there's
fucking
people have
hilarious.
called Zoran some pretty
Hilarious.
crazy stuff.
Like the question that Emily Jashinsky got in right under the wire here at the end.
Yeah, we got that, Griffin. Let's play
Yeah,
that.
right wingers don't
I
really
was so
care
happy. I
about
thought-
being
I thought
called
we
shit.
weren't gonna get
That's
yours,
a
but we
big
got it,
thing
folks.
that they
Let's
don't
take a
really
listen to Emily
understand.
Jashinsky in the Oval.
Again, at this point, to right winger being called a fascist isn't really like for their politics isn't really a diss. It's more just like okay, well, it just gives them a sign that you're a fucking idiot. So. Because it just at this point, right winger just believe that you call a right winger fascist just to have a reason to fucking hurt them, and that's kind of a fair
She's out there
assessment.
campaigning and, you say things sometimes in a campaign. Capable person, but you really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. I can say again because New York was great. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. You know, another moment I thought was extraordinary was when he was asked. This was actually a good question. He was asked, "Would you feel safe living in New York under a mayor Mamdani?" And he was like, "Absolutely, 100%. I absolutely would, no problem." And that might have been when he talked about, he's retained a police commissioner that apparently Ivanka knows. I mean, it's the Tishes.
Oh,
you know,
Tish, yeah,
so
yeah.
he's like, I know that comes from a great family, and I hear that she's doing great work. So, I don't know. A friend of mine just texted me and said his quote was Trump is such a star fucker, Zoran tamed him. And there is some of that. I mean, Trump talked about, Emily, how he's met with all these heads of state and no one cared.
Yeah,
and there's hundreds of people.
Here's the thing. I don't blame Trump for actually liking this guy, though. He's like the first Democrat anybody actually wants to support in like 12 fucking years. The only other one was Bernie, and he's an independent. So it's like, of course he's glazing the one Democrat people actually look up to besides Obama.
Well,
like,
not dying to know about this and dying to get a question in, etc. And that is obviously the kind of thing that impresses our president.
Yes, I mean I think that's exactly right. He knows, and someone also asked about whether Mamdani took some of Trump's social media strategies into his own campaign, and they were like also very friendly about that. I think it's another thing that Trump really had this respect for Mamdani. Has probably seen the ads and was like, these are smart, because anybody with political instinct would look at that campaign and say it was very, very smart. And Trump mentioned himself watching Mamdani's numbers go up and up and up, and now it's actually funny because a lot of people are. I'm just seeing this like commentary on social media being like, oh, Trump just killed the New York governor's race for Republicans, because so much of their efforts to take on Hochul are focused on tying her to Mamdani, and the Mamdani tie works a lot less well. It's very dangerous if the president's like backslapping with him in the Oval Office, saying he feels perfectly safe in New York City, would feel perfectly safe, taking away your jihadist line, which is insane and just like a completely stupid thing today. He neutralized like 80% of the Republican campaign against Kathy Hochul, and it's Elise Stefanik, who is like his hand-picked person for that role, whose campaign he just undercut, not just in response to my question, but actually the entire meeting, the photo op, everything in and of itself neutralizes the Stefanik campaign.
I was thinking about, I mean, this has been a common talking point. You heard on Fox News, you heard it from Bill Maher, even in like a lame and poorly received joke about how Zoran winning was like a big win for Republicans, and they're going to hang this guy around the neck of Democrats. They're going to talk about how he's a jihadist doing Sharia law. I had some guy on my kid's soccer practice this week talking about how New York was going to be under Sharia and all this stuff. And so I think they were always wrong about how effective that would be. But there's no doubt there were a million Republican consultants out there like, oh, we're going to use this Zoran guy to paint every Democrat who's running this cycle in the midterms as extremist, Islamist, jihadist, communist, whatever. And now you have the president of the United States like, I love this guy. Me and him, we're basically the same. Like, he's a great champ.
Here's the problem is I think people are just like really fucking sick of Trump's attacking. Like, people just want him to make the fucking government work, and I feel like he came in this era of politics because, like, okay, to be fair, Trump, when he came into politics, was like really attacked by the Democratic Party with a lot of lies, at least with the Russia hoax that they kept pushing. And a lot of other stuff, just calling him rapist, sexist, and all this stuff, which who knows is all probably. To me, the racist thing is like, okay, well, he just has like an old grandpa sense of racism, which is the same fucking thing Nick Fuentes has. So, okay, do I really care? No. And then the sexist one, okay, well, that's probably. I mean, he's a rich billionaire philanthropist. What the fuck did you expect? But people would rather have somebody they respect in terms of business than, you know, like ethics. Sadly. That's why having like a figure that's so like morally like nice and good is somebody most people gather around. That's why I feel also people on the left are shocked by Marjorie Taylor Greene what's it, calling it quits. Almost done with this.
Champion, we're gonna work together. I feel great about living in New York City under him. So that whole ad campaign strategy, I would say, is pretty well undercut and out the window for the midterms. Now, again, I don't think they lose much with that because I don't think that was going to work anyway. But they were certainly queuing that up, and especially in these New York races, the governor being most prominent among them.
Well, and the thing is, it works in some districts. Like the Republicans go back to 2010 all of the time, and we'll talk about their success using Nancy Pelosi as kind of the boogeyman where you tie every Dem candidate to San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi. And there's some places where that'll work, but virtually no place. There's no place that'll work now unless Trump turns on Mamdani, which is obviously possible.
Oh yeah,
certainly
that could happen at any moment. It could
Ryan's,
happen later today. You know,
absolutely. It could literally have happened while we were taping.
While
this.
we're talking, yeah.
Like it's. I don't see people running around down here in the basement, in the White House basement. So I'm assuming that didn't happen yet. But it's like that could be imminent. And if that happens, everything we just said goes out the window a bit. But Mamdani is not Nancy Pelosi. He's much more talented at like the media politics strategy.
Oh yeah, what was it? I think I went off trail with my thought. That was it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think right wings are hurt anything by. I think most people are happy that they're actually getting along. Like it wasn't anything volatile. Like it literally went really great. Like the meeting. It was also fucking hilarious. I wish I got to see JD Vance and him meet. That'd been funnier because they're more like kind of same age, I guess, right? Maybe JD's Vance like 40, so maybe he's like 10 years older.
And selling himself, advertising, all of that.
I forgot what I was
and
saying,
and doesn't come off as just like an out-of-touch elite. I mean, that was really the problem with her and why those attacks were so effective. So number one, I think we should assume that there will be still a falling out, a confrontation. Like it will get ugly and nasty between them. I think that is probably unavoidable given the positions that they both occupy. So I think that is likely going to come at some point in the future over some issue. We have no idea what, right? And Trump will feel scorned, you know, because Zoran says something mean about him or whatever. I also want to steelman though, like the lefty case against this meeting. Like, here's a guy that you yourself say is a fascist, that you yourself say was enabling and funding a genocide and is now helping to facilitate a total occupation of the Gaza Strip, who just accused 6 Democrats of sedition and wants them to be hanged, right? People voted for you because a part of the case that you made is I'm going to fight this guy. Like, I'm not going to go and bend the knee. I'm going to confront him. I'm going to be the toughest fighter against Donald Trump because of what he's doing to America, what he's doing in our cities, the way he's ripping families apart, all of that. So, you know, Zoran, one of his great strengths is coming across as super authentic, saying what he means. So how can you square those things that you said on the campaign trail with this very friendly and conciliatory meeting? Griffin, I'd actually be curious for your thoughts on that, you know, case that perhaps something like that would be the case that Kyle would make. I don't want to put words in his mouth. He's probably going to record his own segment here momentarily. But, you know, what do you think of that position?
You know, I also got to say, I do like the fact that Trump and him are going off of, in terms of where they find agreement, they're going off of where their voters, like, agreed. And I think a lot of that came from Zoran, too. Where they elected him for his like affordability agenda and stuff like that. You know, there's overlap there, and I'm glad they acknowledged like that overlap on how to help New York. If only we had that kind of fucking respect in California. God damn.
I get where they're coming from, but then it comes down to what Ryan said, which is like strategy. It's like we can like feel these ways about things, but what is going to be the most productive, like real world solutions to change any of it? And it seems to be like that you can talk as much shit as you want on Trump, and then just be good in the room with him, and that seems to be the solution to like every world leader's problems.
That's
the reason
usually
why they won't let Venezuela, who's Maduro, they won't.
He respects a shit talker a lot more than a backseat gamer.
Maduro even write like a pen pal note to Trump, because the second you get close to Trump, it's over. Because you can wow him in the room. So yeah, I know. I think that Zoran is not only with this, but with his primary endorsements, he is clearly setting out to be a very calculated individual that wants to make sure that he can rule and accomplish some of his goals. And we've seen that with him going to a DSA meeting a few nights ago and talking about not supporting a primary against Jeffries. You know, you can agree or disagree on that, but it's showing that he wants to play a role where he can deliver in New York City, and the more national desire for him to lead Democrats on everything seems like he wants to lead for New York first, have that be a success, and then see what comes afterwards.
Well, I think, Emily, he feels the weight of the office in terms of if he is not a good mayor and public opinion turns on him in New York City, then it will be considered a death knell for democratic socialism. You guys, we tried it. You had all these idealistic ideas. Turns out you can't govern. Was a failure. Now, when Eric Adams, who's a centrist, fails and is the least popular mayor in all of New York City history, that is not used as like an indictment of all of democratic corporate centrism, even though it probably should be. But that's not the way that logic works. But we all know it will be different if you have this democratic socialist comes from behind, rebuked by the establishment. And then
Again, I'm just so sick. I think most Americans are sick of this whole trying to find out what political party or ideology somebody aligns know if they push the right fucking agenda and policies, and it's like, dude, like, it's really like I get wanting to know their ideology and stuff like that, and having a take on their ideology because it forms most of their policy and what party they're gonna end up in, and kind of forms a vote. I get it, but at the end of the day, you just want somebody you can trust that will push the right policy for you. And when all like the basic necessity, like the basic of all you have to be is a populist, which is just acknowledging, oh, it's hard for most people. The cost of living. It's not hard to be a populist, it seems. I don't even know what really define populism, to be honest. I thought it was just like, what's the popular take, huh? And, you know, turns out the popular take is a popular take. Who would have thought? That's what, you know, they all ran on it. That's how they got elected. I don't get how any of these establishment Democrats or like any of these fuckers get reelected. It has to be rigged. And that's why I don't blame Trump for going into office and saying, hey, these elections are fucking rigged, clearly. Because how are they getting, if people are 90% approving of what one or two congressmen are proposing, 2 or 3 actually, and then the other 400 aren't, what's going on?
then he's not able to govern effectively. And so my sense of Zoran is that he feels the weight of that and is really focused on, okay, what are going to be the barriers in my way to achieving I need to deliver in this city, and that ultimately is how he thinks he will be judged, and the success of his ideological political project will be judged.
Well, and I think also right now, even we focus so.
Massey, fine. Say it, Massey. Say it, Massey.
So I'm gonna give you guys some updates on some ideas and wonderful things that you guys have done in a minute. But first, I want to give you a story that we promised you earlier on the Young Turks. It fits into the revolution because it's a story about how we are. There are forces inside America trying to control American government on behalf of a different country. In this case, Israel. So let's do this story.
Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why there's so much effort in trying to stop this. And I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm glad he's just saying it. It's crazy. They're actually so informed on so many things that they're just really good at keeping their fucking mouth shut.
Said it. Yes, it's definitely Israel. We're going to show you here with a news story from Dropside News that shows once again that Epstein was working with the Israelis. And so the mainstream media has been ignoring it, but he's a U.S. congressman, so they're probably going to have to address it. And if they're going to address it, they're going to probably do what Dana Bash did with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are you saying that Israel was involved? That sounds conspiratorial. Yeah, because it was a literal conspiracy where Epstein was working behind the scenes to help Israel. So let's give you the facts and you'll see for yourself. So latest article from Dropsite, Jeffrey Epstein pursued Swiss Rothschild Bank to finance Israeli cyber weapons empire. Gee, I wonder if he was working with Israel. Okay, look, it's unfortunate that this bank happens to be called Rothschild because there is an actual conspiracy theory that is anti-Semitic about how the Rothschilds run the whole world. I think it's a comical theory, but in this case, it just happens to be a bank and a person with that same name. So the central figures here are Epstein, Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, and this is hilarious, Baroness Ariane de Rothschild. We have a baroness who would also, of course, like to help Israel. And so she's the CEO of Edmond de Rothschild Group. That's an enormous Swiss private bank, okay? Epstein spent years trying to connect Barak and de Rothschild, and that's what the story's about. So they explain. In one note, Epstein passed along a tantalizing offer from de Rothschild to Barak. If Ehud wants to make serious money, he will have to build a relationship with me, take time so that we can truly understand one another. So now, the Baroness wants Israel to get cyber weapons. And now that's the former prime minister of Israel. So she's like, come here, and I'll give you the money, and then you can do this plot for us, but you have to get to know me first. Okay. Then they explained Barak asked for advice, deferring to Epstein's supposed expertise on women. He said, I'm ready, but I need your advice regarding how. Ladies is your forte. Not really. Young children that he's raping is his forte, but okay. According to Dropsite News, the purpose of connecting Rothschild and Barack was to secure financing for this. Quote, Barack's private communications showed discussions about a wide range of cyber weapons, concepts drawn from Israeli military research, inspired in part by the astonishing scope of U.S. global surveillance apparatus revealed by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. Oh, great. The Israelis need more cyber weapons. And so you've got Epstein trying to arrange that with the former prime minister and the good Baroness, the Rothschild, okay? So there's, now, by the way, to be clear, there's no evidence to confirm whether or not the Rothschild Bank actually directly financed the cyber weapon startup. So we don't know from the material that we have here. This is the leaked emails of Ehud Barak. These are part of the Hundala leaks, and they have been confirmed in parts by Dropsite News and the U.S. government. So, but in October 2015, they explained the Rothschild negotiated a $25 million contract with Epstein's Southern Trust Company, the same entity Epstein used to fund Barack's intelligence-linked security startup, reporting Homeland Security, known as Carbine, earlier that year. So now that's interesting because here is an effort to fund Israel's cyber weapons, and Epstein is deeply involved in it, and he's getting money too. So people wondered.
Anybody listen to that fucking
Now, look, they probably came from a variety of different sources, but apparently some of it came to help
Joe Rogan's
cyber weapons for
stream.
Israel. Now, since this is such a huge story,
he low-key hard dropped the aliens exist on us.
And the mainstream press is reporting, oh, did Donald Trump do it? Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump is one of the people who might or might not have done it. He's the president of the United States, so I understand why you're paying a lot of attention to that. But we found out who he was working with. It was Israel. Do you want to pay attention to that at all? No, wait, don't say it. Don't say it. Cover it up for Israel. But we're objective. If you're objective, why are you trying to hide the news? That's super weird. Okay, so now, you've published many other pieces as well, Dropsite News has, about Epstein's links to the Israeli government and intelligence agencies, and we've told you about that.
Okay.
He was trying to get America to bomb Syria on behalf of Israel. Then he tried to get America to bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. He arranged a meeting with Vladimir Putin and Ehud Barak that Ehud Barak couldn't arrange. So
what was
he
that?
To help procure cyber weapons for Israel. Now, since this is such a huge story, and Epstein's the Rothschild negotiated a $25 million contract with Epstein's Southern Trust Company, the same entity Epstein used to fund Barack's intelligence-linked security startup, reporting Homeland Security, known as Carbine, earlier that year. So now that's interesting because here is an effort to fund Israel's cyber weapons, and Epstein is deeply involved in it, and he's getting money too. So people wondered, where did all of Epstein's money come from? Now, look, they probably came from a variety of different sources, but apparently some of it came to help procure cyber weapons for Israel. Now, since this is such a huge story, and Epstein is one of the largest stories, certainly of this administration, and maybe of any administration, and the mainstream press is reporting, oh, did Donald Trump do it? Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump is one of the people who might or might not have done it. He's the president of the United States, so I understand why you're paying a lot of attention to that. But we found out who he was working with. It was Israel. Do you want to pay attention to that at all? No, wait, don't say it. Don't say it. Cover it up for Israel. But we're objective. If you're objective, why are you trying to hide the news?
Oh, wait.
That's super
the wrong
weird.
Thing.
Okay, so now, you've published many other pieces as well, Dropsite News has, about Epstein's links to the Israeli government and intelligence agencies, and we've told you about that. He was trying to get America to bomb Syria on behalf of Israel. Then he tried to get America to bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. He arranged a meeting with Vladimir Putin and Ehud Barak that Ehud Barak couldn't arrange. So he is more powerful than the former prime minister of Israel. He's powerful enough to get a meeting with Vladimir Putin anytime he wants. He was working with some of the top bankers, some of the countries in the world, and all of it, and all of the emails are to help Israel. But mainstream media is like, what was the adage? Was it follow the propaganda, follow the husband, follow the money? Wait, it was follow the money, right? The journalism adage? No, don't follow the money. Don't follow it. Whatever you do, don't follow it. Okay, guys, we got it. You love Israel, but you're supposed to be American media. The way that they are so unbelievably biased is maddening, which leads us to the next part of the story. Meanwhile, the Washington Post editorial board is chiding Congress for voting to release the Epstein files. Gee, I wonder why the Washington Post editorial board cares. Why hide the Epstein files? No, please don't find out it's Israel. Please. Shut up, everybody. You're all anti-Semites. All of America is anti-Semites. Of course the children of America should be raped for Israel's advantage, because, but if you say it, you're anti-Semites. No, bring your children, otherwise you're an anti-Semite. You have to allow them to do it. Anti-Semite. No.
It's crazy how they just gaslight the American people.
It's about these particular guys who are not loyal to Jews overall. They're loyal to a country, Israel, a government, Israel. Okay, so, and the board did slam down.
What is it they got?
Flip-flopping on this issue of it, whether they should be unveiled. They didn't want them to flip-flop. They wanted them to hide the Epstein files forever, so their beloved Israel wouldn't be exposed. Anyway, here's editorial board, quote, the whole sordid exercise is a testament to the collapse of political trust, and no one comes out looking good. Yes, the political trust has collapsed.
Okay, that was great. Gotta sell some stuff. Watch a decoy voice. What happened again, decoy?
Shower with Jolie instead. This isn't just any shower.
Fellow Californian.
Kindness to criminals is actually cruelty to victims, and we're never gonna see justice in these deep blue cities until the judges can be held liable for enabling these crimes. As in Chicago, Illinois, a man arrested 72 times was seen filling up a bottle with gasoline, then 20 minutes later goes on to the Blue Line subway, randomly setting an innocent woman on fire, leaving her in critical
Damn!
He lit a woman on fire aboard a train. Meanwhile, there are growing questions.
What?
20 minutes later goes on to the Blue Line subway, randomly setting an innocent woman on fire, leaving her in. As in Chicago, Illinois, a man arrested 72 times was seen filling up a bottle
72 times?
the Blue Line subway, randomly setting an innocent woman on fire, leaving her in critical condition.
He lit a woman on fire aboard a train. Meanwhile, there are growing questions about why he was back out on the streets despite a rap sheet reportedly going back to the early 90s.
Family will not be providing any more updates. We've tracked down more than 4 dozen arrests of Lawrence Reed since 1993. 9 of them were for felonies, yet he has served just over 2 years behind bars. The state's attorney requested pre-trial detention, but Judge Teresa Molina Gonzalez denied him the request and put him on electronic monitoring. Judge Molina Gonzalez said, "I can't put everyone behind bars just because the state's attorney has asked me to."
In other words, this liberal judge just said, I refuse to keep Cook County residents safe, as that would require locking up dangerous criminals with long histories of violent activity. But not only have these activist judges refused to protect the people, the mayor also seems desperate to protect the attacker.
Bronze Square Shields, great.
As awful and as horrific as this tragedy is, this is an isolated incident as we continue to invest more in our public transportation system.
It's kind of hard to call this an isolated incident when the arsonist has been arrested over 70 times. Not to mention, this isn't even the first time he set fire on the Blue Line, where CWB Chicago was captured when he set fire to the Thompson building just above the subway station. But Mayor Johnson will conveniently ignore this.
How will you specifically be changing safety measures on the CTA for riders who are...
And so there are appropriations that have been dedicated specifically around safety, but even more specifically around homelessness as well as mental health services, right? So now we have a governing structure that will allow for all voices to come together to think strategically about where those investments should rest.
So an innocent woman was just burned alive on the Blue Line, and his best solution is, we're going to get together and think about how to spend more of your money. As just one side of the spending is homelessness, which Mayor Johnson just upped to $195 million from last year's $161 million. They haven't even charged this arsonist, and he's already
Chicago?
How much extra cash he can squeeze from taxes.
As
you
you
get together and think about how to spend more of your money. As just one side of this spending is homelessness, which Mayor Johnson just upped to $195 million from last year's $161
Oh my God!
They haven't even charged this arsonist.
They're taxing people more!
Extra cash he can squeeze from taxes. As you can't convince me this horrific crime wasn't part of their plan.
How they still? I don't get their justification for already getting that much money, wasting it, and then saying we need more money. You didn't even do that much with the amount you have. Give it to private security to do it.
And the system that enabled it, the worse this gets. Where CWB Chicago reports, he shouted, "Burn alive, B," after setting the girl ablaze, which is after he set the Thompson Center on fire in 2020 over not receiving his social security check, to which he pled guilty, but only received 2 years of mental health probation, despite already being on probation for battery twice. But the court called this arson satisfactory. Then just 3 months ago, he allegedly knocked out a social worker at a psychiatric facility, but the judge rejected his detention request, only placing him on electronic monitoring, saying he can't go back to that mental health hospital unless it's an emergency. So that social worker must feel so safe to know their attacker legally can't come back unless he's having a mental breakdown. But electronic monitoring does nothing, as when he set that girl on fire, he wasn't even supposed to be outside. It's almost like dangerous individuals need to be sent to a special place to be separated from society by force. If only we had a system where someone could pass judgment on who belongs behind bars. But unfortunately in Chicago, their judges seem more concerned with coddling criminals.
How after the 49th? Bitch, what? What?
Than keeping their citizens safe, as this case is eerily similar to what occurred in Charlotte, where another innocent woman lost her life because liberal judges refused to lock up a dangerous individual. But even Chicago's governor refuses to acknowledge this.
You ask your friends to ride the L after midnight, or after 9 o'clock at night even. Come down to the city, they're both here.
Look, big cities have crime. There's no doubt about it. But let's just pay attention to what President Trump is doing.
Which mirrors the mayor's...
Yeah, you know, what I like about this guy is he at least keeps it to a political thing. He doesn't make it into an identitarian thing. Where you listen to conservatives talk about the situation, like, oh, look, another black man being let off by another black woman judge. It's like, dude, it's the policies they're pushing. But maybe they're right. But it's mostly the policies.
trauma is the fact that we have people who are starving in our city who don't even feel safe going to get
Like
groceries
Decoy,
because they're afraid of
because
what Donald
he's keeping it about the policy at least.
Ties up police resources that could be out there protecting Chicago citizens. And keep in mind, this is the same mayor that complained about
Not
Biden's
policy, but like, you know, he's talking about the laws and stuff and like the legality of it all and what's going on.
This as a distraction from how completely lawless his city has become.
Not like hyper focus on the race of it all.
No, the reporting over the
Like
attack
I
is horrendous, with a local CBS affiliate
Ah.
spreading the driest description of a terror attack, also reporting on if the suspect should remain in custody after burning their mass transit system. The fact that he loudly admitted it as he was being arrested apparently wasn't enough to keep him in custody, but you can't really expect much from Chicago. But then they reported how the mayor blamed the lack of mental health clinics, crying the state needs to give him his $1.5 billion faster. You genuinely have to be an evil individual to say this heinous crime and immediately go into, how can I use this to get my hands on more of your money? As this probably wasn't the first thing he said publicly, but the corporate media is so desperate to place the blame away from the mayor, they tried to shame the taxpayer, but absolutely nobody is buying it. But what's worse is when the UK's Guardian covered it, bringing up the similarity of the 57-year-old woman that was also set on fire in a subway in New York City, with CNN's reporting on the terror charges, but when they referenced the parallels on the murder of Irina Zarutska, they immediately went into defense, saying Trump is criticizing the crimes in Democrat-run cities, but there's actually a drop in violent crime. And
Dude,
anyone
I
who's
hate
tried to
when they're
report a
saying
crime in
this
a
shit.
Democrat-run city knows that they just make it as difficult as possible, so they can just juke the stats and pretend crime is down, as it's easy to ignore civil assaults and robberies until the lawlessness becomes so apparent people are being burned alive on your so-called safest subways ever. But how exactly does it get this bad? Just look at last year's situation in New York City, where the TikTok algorithm accidentally connected all these women complaining about being randomly attacked in the streets, only for them to later find out some of them were being attacked by the same guy who actually recorded himself attacking them, but then others were being attacked by a guy that just looked like that other dude. But all of them said it was near impossible to get the police to do anything about it. But when that same demographic saw this guy running for mayor,
Violence is an artificial construction. We have to be very clear. What is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence at the highest degree.
promising to empty out their jails.
We know.
Okay, he's just being a little critical. I feel like Mom Donnie is like every right-wing grifter's fucking like go-to like punch buggy. Like, dude, he's doing fine. He's barely done anything. I don't even think he's in the fucking office yet. Everybody's supporting him. Like, why are you literally just hating to hate the guy? Like, leave the dude alone. He's just a mayor. Like, well, I don't get what everyone's real like hatred is coming from. Just because of what the label Democratic Socialists, like, get over it, dude. What the fuck?
Idiots actually elected him because he promised them free things.
Like,
It's
just
no
disagree
secret
with him. You
that
know,
restrictions
like,
become increasingly more
I don't get it.
dangerous.
I'm not even a socialist. I'm more of a libertarian. I'm a big free market guy. But like, it's just like whatever, dude.
Construction jobs, it's going to be.
Let the guy have his shot. That's what I say.
Commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality. Subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Fuck, did I forget my hammer? Did I bring my hammer last time? God, I love the soundtrack. Go to the bank.
On Harper's Ferry. I mean, the guy was like a committed ideologue.
Okay, let's
assassinate him, then he Julius Caesar. But literally, the actual Julius Caesar. Remember when Caesar turns around and goes, "Et tu, Brute"? He's talking about Junius Brutus.
I love
His
History
dad
Camp.
was named
I
after
love
the
his
man that
other
killed
channel,
the
Religion Camp. This
I mean,
guy's
come on.
great. Best
Crazy
out
little
of Flank Grant.
It's almost
in
as
my
if he was
opinion.
like destined to, assassinate the. I don't want to compare Abraham Lincoln with Julius Caesar, but just think of it like a head of state. You know what I mean? A man who, was loved by the people generally, that some people thought was a tyrant. And let me tell you, John Wilkes Booth thought that Abraham Lincoln was a tyrant. I mean, for the wrong reasons. I mean, Abraham Lincoln just freed the slaves and was, unifying the entire nation. But John Wilkes Booth didn't like that because he was racist. We'll get into more of that later. But just a crazy thing off rip that he's literally born to the guy who's named after the dude who stabbed Julius Caesar. Crazy. He is one of the youngest of 10. He's the 9th child out of 10. And for his time, he was a star. His dad, Junius, was one of the biggest Shakespearean actors of the early 1800s. But Junius was also pretty unstable. Okay, he was a heavy drinker. At one time, he even wrote a letter to Andrew Jackson threatening to assassinate him. Then he wrote an apology letter. It was a whole thing. So John, he gets it pretty honestly from his dad, as you can imagine. Okay, so John is one of the younger siblings, and he was super jealous of his brother Edwin, who would go on to become basically like the Daniel Day-Lewis of his time. There's actually a Booth Theater in New York City, still to this day, named after Edwin Booth, John Wilkes Booth's brother, which is just another crazy thing. So by the time John Wilkes Booth hits his 20s, he's pulling in serious money. He's a very prominent actor. And between 1863 and 1864, John Wilkes Booth earns like almost $1 million in today's money. It's around like $20,000 in that time. But keep in mind, like President Lincoln's salary is $25,000. So he's almost making what the president makes just as an actor. Now, he's starring in plays across the South where people basically worship him. I mean, he's walking around, women are throwing flowers at him, critics are calling him the most handsome man in America. Other actors are describing him as impossible not to admire. Like he's basically just like the most beloved actor, specifically in the South at the time. But you see, John Wilkes Booth, the success and the money and adulation isn't enough. He wanted Edwin's level of respect and throughout his whole life. His brother was just slightly, more sought after. He was more admired, more revered, more respected in the acting world. I mean, Edwin even forbid John from performing anywhere near his appearances, worried about overloading the American theater with, the Booth family. So to really understand John, you have to understand that he loved Shakespeare, he loved women, and he really loved the South. Now, Maryland, where he was born and basically where he lived, was technically the Union, but Booth saw himself as a Confederate. He smuggled medical supplies to Confederate troops during his travels. Like, he would literally go down south to do a show and bring in, like, quinine, like, to, help, like, the troops in the South with malaria, all this stuff. And he even joined a Virginia company that helped capture and execute abolitionist John Brown after the raid on Harper's Ferry. I mean, the guy was, like, a committed ideologue. So, as the Civil War is ramping up, John hates the North, and he's just growing in his hatred for the North. He even called Lincoln a tyrant. He called him the black Republican who was destroying the Constitution. At parties, he would literally make toast saying, "Here's hoping that the tyrant dies." But his hatred wasn't just political, it was personal. So when Lincoln won re-election on a platform basically advocating the abolishment of slavery, Booth told his sister Asia, "That man's appearance, his pedigree, his coarse, low jokes and anecdotes, his vulgar smiles, and his policy are a disgrace."
Wait, sorry.
Who was destroying the Constitution. At parties, he would literally make toast saying, "Here's hoping that the tyrant dies."
Dang!
But his hatred wasn't just political. The guy was like a committed ideologue. So,
hold on.
More sought after. He was more admired, more revered, more respected in the acting
Sorry.
world.
I need to rewind this. Sorry, pal. Sorry, guys.
The most handsome man in America. Other actors are describing him as impossible not to admire. Like he's basically just like the most beloved actor, specifically in the South at the time. But you see, John Wilkes Booth, the success and the money and the adulation isn't enough. He wanted Edwin's level of respect and throughout his whole life. His brother was just slightly, more sought after. He was more admired, more revered, more respected in the acting world. I mean, Edwin even forbid John from performing anywhere near his appearances, worried about overloading the American theater with, the Booth family. So to really understand John, you have to understand that he loved Shakespeare, he loved women, and he really loved the South. Now, Maryland, where he was born and basically where he lived, was technically the Union, but Booth saw himself as a Confederate. He smuggled medical supplies to Confederate troops during his travels. Like, he would literally go down south to do a show and bring in, like, quinine, like, to, help, like, the troops in the South with malaria, all this stuff. And he even joined a Virginia company that helped capture and execute abolitionist John Brown after the raid on Harper's Ferry. I mean, the guy was, like, a committed ideologue. So, as the Civil War is ramping up, John hates the North, and he's just growing in his hatred for the North. He even called Lincoln a tyrant. He called him the black Republican who was destroying the Constitution. At parties, he would make toast saying, "Here's hoping that the tyrant dies." But his hatred wasn't just political, it was personal. So when Lincoln won re-election on a platform basically advocating the abolishment of slavery, Booth told his sister Asia, "That man's appearance, his pedigree, his coarse, low jokes and anecdotes, his vulgar smiles and his policy are a disgrace to the seat he holds." He genuinely believed that Lincoln was leading America towards, just anarchy. He hated these ideas of racial mixing and the destruction of white civilization. And again, like, these aren't just like drunken rants at the time, because in 1864, Booth was already cooking up plans to kidnap Lincoln and smuggle him to Richmond, Virginia. So you have to understand, like, John Wilkes Booth was a real racist Southern Confederate ideologue. He was like, we are a white nation, we got to protect this, we can't have racial mixing. And this guy, Abraham Lincoln, is trying to send our country into disarray by allowing equality. Like, he was really who he was. Now, what's crazy is that there's another coincidence here that makes the whole thing just sound fake, okay, but it's not. What's up, guys? We're gonna take a break really quick because you might need a little bit of help, all right? As we know, our society is very sexual, right? It is in everything. We're constantly being marinated in sexual garbage, memes, music videos.
Yeah, I'll let this ad play out. I deserve it.
And then that leads you down a little rabbit hole. You pop into the hub. Yeah, you pop into the hub, and it might be sucking the life out of you and dudes everywhere. Yes, killing your motivation, your relationships, your happiness from just gooning all the time. And that's why I want to tell you about something called Relay. Relay is the first app that actually helps you quit porn for good. It doesn't just tell you like, oh, do better. It gives you like little affirmations every day. It actually gives you tools that work, real accountability and actual encouragement and support to help you succeed. It's not about guilt or moralizing or telling you you're a bad person. It's about helping you grow to be the best person you can be. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, this is your sign to do something about it. So download Relay, start your 7-day free trial with the code GAGNON, and start building some real freedom. There are thousands of guys that are already doing this and getting their lives back through Relay, and you can too. So seriously, stop gooning. Stop being a gooner, all right? At least for like a couple of weeks, right? Maybe a month, right? To do your best.
Yeah.
Okay? We're all in this journey together.
I get it.
So if you're interested, go to joinrelay.app/camp and become the person that you know you can be. Now let's get back to the show. John Wilkes Booth's brother, Edwin, the guy that he admired. And
anybody watching?
He actually saved Abraham Lincoln's
Anybody want to talk?
life. Just as a crazy little side note, Robert Todd Lincoln, who also has a bunch of crazy things in his own life. Basically, Robert Todd Lincoln fell onto train tracks in the crowded New Jersey train station. And this is in like 1864, 1865. And Edwin Booth grabbed the 21-year-old Robert
37
Lincoln by the collar and pulled him back to safety. And Robert recognized the famous actor and was like, "Oh, did you just save my life? Like, thank you so much." And Edwin didn't even realize whose son that he had rescued until much later. So yeah, one Booth literally saved a Lincoln and the other one killed a Lincoln, which is just another crazy thread in this whole thing. Another crazy fun fact in this whole saga, the only time that all three Booths, like, you know, Junius, the father, Edwin, and John Wilkes Booth, all played and performed together was in a production of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar in November 1864. And John Wilkes Booth was playing Mark Antony, the character in the play who avenges Caesar's assassination. So just as like the foreshadowing and like all the parallels are just insane. But anyway, basically, John Wilkes Booth created the first plan, and this was a kidnapping. So by late 1864, the Confederacy is losing the war, and Booth is spiraling, so he comes up with this plan. And we're just going to kidnap Lincoln, we're going to blackmail the Union, convince them to exchange prisoners of war for his return.
Dang!
Continue Junius the facts in the crowded New Jersey train station. And this is in like 1864, 1865, and Edwin Booth grabbed the 21-year-old Robert Lincoln by the collar and pulled him back to safety. And Robert recognized the famous actor and was like, "Oh, did you just save my life? Like, thank you so much."
Dang!
And Edwin didn't even realize whose son that he had rescued until much later. So yeah, one Booth literally saved a Lincoln and the other one killed a Lincoln, which is just another crazy thread in this whole thing. Another crazy fun fact in this whole saga, the only time that all three Booths, like, you know, Junius, the father, Edwin, and John Wilkes Booth, all played and performed together was in a production of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar in November 1864.
Wow.
And John Wilkes Booth was playing Mark Antony, the character in the play who avenges Caesar's assassination. So just as like the foreshadowing and like all the parallels.
It's crazy how we hear
but anyway,
about Abraham
basically,
Lincoln's
John Wilkes Booth created the first plan.
like,
This was a kidnapping. So by late 1864, the Confederacy is losing the war, and Booth is spiraling. So he comes up with this plan. And we're just going to kidnap Lincoln. We're going to blackmail the Union, convince them to exchange prisoners of war for his return, and we'll continue the Confederate effort. And this is when everything
I love
begins
it
to fall in
though.
place. He gathers a crew at a
I
DC
love
boarding
it.
house run by a lady named Mary Surratt. This was
I don't
a
get how
rare
anybody's
businesswoman
not glad to be
basically
part of
her
it.
house became like, you know, the headquarters for like Confederate sympathizers and just like
We'll
conspiracy
conquer it all.
headquarters, more or less. So Booth is then introduced to John Surratt. This is
We'll
Mary's son,
conquer
and a Confederate
ourselves.
courier. So
More
literally, a
important.
man who was like delivering messages into the South, from the South into the North. He became sort of like a conduit. And they met through a man named Dr. Samuel Mudd, who's going to become important later, but we'll get to him. Booth kept on asking Surratt about trails leading from Washington to the Potomac River without telling him why he wanted the information. But when Surratt finally demanded to know what Booth wanted after weeks of avoiding the questions, Booth basically reveals his plan to kidnap the president, take him to Richmond, and exchange him for thousands of Confederate prisoners. Now, the team for this whole operation consisted of a few people. David Harold, who was John Wilkes Booth's sidekick, he was like a 22-year-old pharmacist assistant who basically followed him everywhere and like knew the back roads of Southern Maryland from like hunting trips. He had Lewis Powell, who at the time was going by Lewis Payne, who was an ex-Confederate soldier, who was just like a big, dumb meathead type guy. He was also a former member of Mosby's Rangers, who was wounded at Gettysburg, and again, just kind of like an adult. And then you had George Atzerodt, who was the getaway guy. Now, he was a German immigrant, basically, who was like preparing carriages as a job. And despite living in America most of his life, couldn't really speak English that well. So this is the squad. This is the crackpot team that's going to be kidnapping Lincoln, okay? So Booth basically rehearsed practice runs in the back roads of Maryland, and the conspirators basically were like stocking ropes and chloroform and pistols, and they were putting all this stuff in the attic of the Surratt attic, basically, this woman and her son. But the issue was that they didn't know how to actually complete their plan. So they made a bunch of different scenarios. One,
how do I use the barbarian battle axe? Let's see. Battle axe. Okay, so I need to get to level 16, 18. I can finally make iron armor at level 33. I need to get my mining and my smithing up to what? I'd say let's try to get up to steel. How about that? Then I'll start really questing. Otherwise, I gotta just keep. Smithing and Mining Guide OSRS. Oh, fuck it. I'm not gonna look too much stuff up. Fuck it. Let's go ahead and go back. What's going on Twitter? Ron Paul! Speaking with political opponents is something that I've always supported. I complimented President Trump for meeting with New York City's new mayor Zoran Mamdani. I encourage the president to give the same courtesy to true political allies of liberty of the Constitution. He's talking about Massey, of course. Let's go. Actually adorable. You know, how are people not gonna love the guy? Come on, like, we want him to do well. Everybody wants him to do well. I really hope he does well. He's like a representative of me too. Like, if we are looking at it from what is it called? Identitarian racial perspective, he represents me more than anybody. Maybe not from a religious viewpoint, but from the same part of the world, like being brown and stuff, like our kind of brown. Like, I get it. So same with Vivek Ramaswamy. He's probably facing the most hate of all, but he's not gonna get any support because he's a Republican. So he's out here doing it all pretty much alone, which is a lot harder. He has to deal with the fucking pagan shit. Like, sure, like they'll get called radical Islamist jihadist, whatever, bro. My guys get out here being called the pagan all the time. It's like just a stupid. He's getting just like dumb me Ed Christian's going up to him. Hey, you pagan. You can't. I don't want to listen to your podcast. Like, I can't deal with it. Fucking conservatives, bro. Any remaining honor and integrity in watching Thomas Massey. God, true. Israel's Friendsgiving dinner. Is that Biden? Whoa. Crazy. Wild to see times like this. And it's all true. How do they just so brazenly get away with it? Like, they're like asking. They're asking for a revolution. It's fucking disgusting how. Because this is basically what they're doing. Except this was wholesome. Listen, I don't actually hate a lot of the government in there. I think a lot of them need to fucking go.
For years, you did this. Now, so if you're talking about streaming being just about gaming, you were the one that tried to edge streaming towards not being gaming more than anybody else. And by the way, I dated another girl that did the same thing. I'm not even complaining about this. I thought it was great. But you can't go and complain about the way the website is whenever you're one of the people that made it this way, right? And so that's it. Boom, yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, exactly. Wasn't she one of the ones that got shit for having too big of a camera when there are restrictions on it? She was. And so, yeah, and exactly, because that's what she was putting out there then. And now, obviously, that you're successful and, you know, like, everything's fine, you don't want other people to do the same thing. But drama baiting and clip farming, this girl comments on drama all the time. She has opinions on drama constantly. It's not about who I think is authentic. It's about who the audience thinks is authentic. And if they think somebody like Pokimane isn't authentic,
Trump talking to Zorn after 35 minutes. That was funny.
Yeah, nothing more. Just trying to see things from their perspective.
You need to blame them though. You need to stop with this. Like this is like
What is he talking
suicidal
about? Oh, God.
empathy. Well, you know, honestly, I don't. Get that out.
No,
of your head,
that's
yes,
true.
Yes,
I get it that well before he does his take, I get what was the guy's thing. Honestly, I don't blame American Jews for prioritizing their Jewish identity over American Jewish history and mythology. Identity over America. Jewish history and mythology holds a lot more weight compared to America, in my opinion. If I was Jew born and raised in the U.S., I would think that America is just an idea and nothing more. Just trying to see things from their perspective. That's a disgusting Wait, I would think that America is just an idea and nothing more. Just trying to see things from their perspective. What? I don't get where people like. Is this like a leftist? Like, this had to be like a leftist person, right? Cause like, I don't get how anybody sees America like as an idea. Like it's a country, bro. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it's a social contract, so that everyone agrees to. Dude, let's keep it bottom line. It's a country, and we're its citizens. Okay, that's all you need to know. And we should be respecting it in that case of like we should be prioritizing this nation and the care of everybody in it. There's a big reason why like even as Indian, bro, I'm against the immigration thing because it's just like, again, like when you're in a state of like we're actually like borderline levels of depression, levels of stuff right now, or like all signs pointed to it. That's what I'm hearing. And then I hear some people like, guys, no, the turnaround's coming. The turnaround's coming. They said that about September and October. It didn't happen. It didn't happen in November. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We'll see what happens. Okay. I don't really want to hear any of it. But it's pointed towards pretty bad the last 3 months. Where was I going off with this? Oh yeah. Okay. So Jew, born in America and stuff like that. You have to be always rooting for your country. I'm a big nationalist in that way. Hello, Dad. Hello. Oh, cool. He didn't care about me. Just gonna deposit all this. If I was born and raised in the U.S., like, here's the thing. If you really think this, then go to fucking Israel. What are you doing in America? If you really, like, don't care about America that much and you only really see like, the usefulness of America is for Israel, get the fuck out. Like, what kind of thinking is this for a country? Like, what? There's no way that we're even entertaining this, like, conversation right now. What is it? And the Jewish history and mythology. But it's a lot more weight compared to America, in my opinion. America's a lot more different in the fact that, like, it's not held down by some kind of history of a certain people. It's held down by people coming to this country and making the best of themselves. If you want to prioritize your Jewish identity over America, then go to fucking Israel, because it's a Jewish state. Okay, if you really prioritize Jewish religion over the American like nation, you should literally, like, it's like, yeah, you should just go to your state, genuinely. Unless, I mean, I think there's people who put nation first and then religion second. Not necessarily like they'll put God first and the nation second. But then to put the religious, like, what is the religious label of who that person is? Nobody really gives a fuck, bro. It's just somebody who's, everybody knows. Everybody from every path of life knows who God is, okay? And I feel like the Constitution is just very, what's the word? Vague in that way, where it says God. God. That's it.
You need to blame.
What did he have to say?
You need to stop with this, like, this is like
is it? You should be blaming Christians too.
Honestly, I don't. Get that out of your head, man. Yes, we can.
I'm sure he's commenting on Christian Zionism though.
We can give the devil their due, let's say, and say we understand where they're coming from. But this whole like, honestly, whenever a white person says honestly, that's how you know they're about to cuck out and say something really gay. I honestly don't even blame them. Why do white people love to do this? They love to blame you. They'll blame you for everything. They blame you for the Holocaust.
He's pushing
And you're
racial
like, honestly,
politics.
I don't blame them. Well, you should. You give and take. How about a little reciprocity? This country has given those people a lot. We've actually done a lot for them, and I don't appreciate their tone. And you don't need to be anything to have gratitude, or reciprocity, or fairness.
You see, there's kind of like a smugness in him because he's like, you know, I do think there's one line where he's like, dude, my ancestors or whatever, or my grandparents kissed the fucking ground when they got here. I'm like, that is quite the flex. I'm not gonna lie. So he speaks with some like level of authority, but also like, fuck you for trying to put yourself over another person when you're trying to put yourself as a regular American guy. You're already putting yourself over a bunch of people who conform to some different political ideology all the time. It's just like, what is this smugness, dude? What is it? Like, nobody really wants to deal with that. Like, even if I agree with most things he's saying, it's like, it's just kind of frustrating. He's funny as shit, though.
Appreciation.
What's frustrating?
I do blame them, actually. I actually don't blame them. I do. I do all day. All day. And you want to know why? We were expected to. Italians were. Italians were expected to assimilate. Catholics were expected to assimilate. So is everybody else.
That's true.
Nobody else gets to play that way. You think white people don't get to?
I support Marjorie Taylor Greene's decision. It was the fucking English has to be like the national language. Like, that's ridiculous. That like it should be like the bottom line when the first thing you come to this country. Do you know English? Cool. Next. That really should be the best, like the first thing. So I'm surprised that it's not. And like that is something that's really annoying about California. Is like, I'll be a job and someone submits their application, but they don't speak like a lick of fucking English, dude. Yeah. Like I had somebody when I was working at a barista job got hired, and they didn't speak a lick of English. Two of them maybe. One of them actually learned something pretty well. The other one is always just kind of frustrating. And she's been here longer in the country, and she still doesn't know English. And it's just like, especially for a job like at Starbucks, like, dude, having to read somebody's order back to them, oh my god. Having to understand what they're saying, oh my god. Especially when it's another immigrant talking, oh my god, dude, it's so hard. I feel so bad too. I felt so bad. I don't work anymore, but god, I feel so bad when I messed up their order because I asking them for the fourth time, what did you mean? It's like, no real offense to them. It's not their fault. You know, at least like growing up in a very immigrant society, you just realize like people's tones is just different because of where they grew up, where they really don't mean the tone. If you just treat them nicely, they'll get it. You get it across, like, you know, it's all chill. It's all chill. I need to go there. Come on, almost there. Mining. Yeah, that guy just hates immigrants too much. I think there is an overall chillness. I feel like I just don't know what it's like in the other states, to be honest. California's very diverse and pretty chill for the most part. Most people agree that it's pretty bad out here. It's just these stupid fucking Gen Zs, bro. Oh my god, bro. My generation, man, at least in California, cooked. They are cooked. I just don't believe in like a competent like governor or mayor to really come out. The only person I've seen is Steve Hilton, and even I have kind of my reservations about him because he is like a full American citizen, naturalized American citizen. So I don't think he has dual citizenship, but like, you know, there is kind of a worry there in my opinion. Like, you know, I'd really rather, maybe just because I'm also naturally born here, like I'd really rather a naturally born like candidate to really be pushed in California as the guy. What the fuck, strength pushing? Thanks, homie. Yeah, especially because, you know, you want somebody who, like, you can see political future in office. That's the unfortunate thing about Mondani is, like, listen, yeah, besides Obama, who's the only other president that, like, a right-winger actually looks up to on the left? And maybe they don't really look up to Mamdani, but they see his movement. They see his motion. They respect his motion, okay? Maybe not like the hardcore conservative ones, but... What do you say here? I watched this whole thing.
One thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of
I don't know nothing about the New Deal. I gotta learn more about that.
The incredible work that was done with the New Deal and also in thinking about what it
New
looks
Deal, I
like
think
when the
it had to
federal
do with
government and
how
New York City government work
India's
together
got
to
here
deliver
too,
on affordability.
actually.
It can be transformative.
You know, we have a great portrait of FDR.
I think that's true. Where's my GBT? Oh, shit. Oh, actually, that's a screenshot. My bad. Provide immediate economic relief, help restore consumer confidence, create jobs, vastly expanding size and scope of federal government role in the economy, set up social security system, create agencies to regulate banking and the stock market. Oh, hey. I don't know about the agency. I mean, regulated banking. I don't know how far regulated banking really went. Like, because at the end of the day, what I mean, I come from the standpoint of, like, it was banking was doing fine without, you know, the government being in their business. Yes, it expanded opportunity, but at the end of the day, when we have to bail them out, like, God, it's so annoying. You have to, bailing out banks is like the most annoying fucking thing, dude. They don't deserve it. They deserve to crash and fail. But if they do, then everyone's ass is on the fucking line. There's something wrong with federal banking or something. That's why I'm kind of a believer in cryptocurrency. Just full on detaching from the fucking system. Like just having, you know, regular fiat currency on the gold standard, or not fiat currency, but like just sound currency. Go back to gold standard, and then you have crypto on the side. There you go. There you go, baby. Sound money. And then that way the government doesn't have any real authority over operating over the money.
Illegally in this country are not counted in the census. The decennial census, which is people who are not here legally in this country, are not counted in the census. The decennial census, which is done every 10 years. What's going on?
Okay, so this has been a major issue for many people.
What's she talking about?
The census is done every 10 years, and it counts the population, and that is written in our Constitution. However, our House district lines are created based off the population counted in the census, as well as our electoral college votes. But now that we've had decades, and especially the past 4 years, of our country basically being invaded with tens of millions of people from all over the world, Americans don't feel like they're represented in Washington. So I have a bill that calls for a new census. It does count the population. However, it has a second count, and that's counting American citizens.
See, I think people should pay attention to their language, which says invaded, because that puts the potential political agenda of forcing more deportations in the future. I think that's something people should be aware of when they're looking at this story and looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene to see if she ever comes back to politics. That is what she's going to be supporting. And while I think if they full on closed off the borders and then only deported really the criminal ones and not all the illegal ones, because there's a lot of illegal people who've been here for like 30-40 years working really hard. The last like 15 years they've been working hard. I'd say give people who had were here the last 15 years or more, they should be considered for citizenship, especially if they have family here. I think that's the best way to go about it. I mean, in terms of trying to find a meeting point of when to stop this, and then we can finally go on with not worrying about this policy issue anymore of deportations, because that's the most vitriolic thing in the media right now coming out from the Democrat side, that they're able to just spam and propagandize people through, and effectively.
Only. The second part of the bill calls for new reapportionment. So district lines would be drawn based on the count of American citizens only. That way, American citizens are represented here in Washington, D.C. And then the third thing my bill calls for is when anyone goes to vote in a federal election, they're required to show proof of citizenship when they show up.
That is not much to
and
ask.
This will drastically change our elections. You'll see states like California lose electoral college votes. You'll see states like California lose House seats to vote. And this will drastically change our elections. You'll see states like California lose electoral college votes.
Yes!
You'll see states like California lose
Yes!
as well as New York and other sanctuary states like Illinois.
That's all I want. That's all I want. It's just the Democrats to lose some electoral college votes. They don't need it all. They don't. It's so rigged here. I think it was Steve Hilton talking about how in order for something to win, fucking Republicans win, they need like basically like 4 times as many votes to like actually win an election. That is insane, dude. Big Republicans pose that much of an agenda, like an agenda that people could agree upon. Like, you have to be like somebody with like a big name in California that people respect. Like, that's the only way fucking Arnold won. He's like the only guy that could actually win as a Republican. I wish he would run for fucking governor again. This fucking guy. You're old, you're chilling, bro. Just govern a little, bro. Get back on it. Oh god, wrong place. Oh god, full on wrong place. Where am I? I headed the wrong way, didn't I? Yes, I did.
President of the United States declined to condemn Nick Fuentes' hateful views.
Dude, why are they
and
making
defended
such a
Tucker
big
Carlson's
deal out of Nick
decision
Fuentes?
to give
Like,
Fuentes a
shit, dude.
platform. The president was asked about his thoughts on the interview. He declined to condemn Nick Fuentes. That is disgusting. For Donald Trump to excuse...
Chuck Schumer, nobody even respects Chuck Schumer right now, whatever. If the left
Another
doesn't, the
factor
right
that's
certainly
never
never
mentioned,
did.
And that's debt. Young people are totally in hock. They are completely indebted. They have student loans. They were required to get a degree, or told they were required to get a degree to get some job that no longer exists because it's been eliminated, or H-1B, or whatever. The jobs aren't there. Unemployment among recent college
Yeah, they, you know, the thing too is with the college degrees, they need to get all H-1B1 kind of work in order to like actually make that college degree worth, and so then they can get it fucking paid off without the government having to bail out the fucking all the educational institutions. That's really the only way, is to actually give them the future that they expected. And that's what you have to do, sadly, get rid of the H-1B ones. So
out of control. Are they becoming more moderate? once they leave college, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, they followed every instruction they were given dutifully, because young people are actually pretty dutiful. And in this country,
I know my brother, is where he had to get rid of one of, I think they got rid of a couple of immigrant workers. Maybe they'll hire new people, I don't know. But they're also, again, the tariff economy, like, fucking them over, so maybe they're not.
The student loans.
Trump certainly gets the 3 out of 10.
Now there are all these other ways to borrow money.
Air Wizard, holy shit.
Why now pay later? What's that? You're going into debt, of course. And what's so interesting about this, and this is a problem primarily on the right, though not exclusively, is that no one has sympathy for them at all. Conservatives, you hate to say this out loud, but it's true. Conservatives have been trained to blame the borrower, not the lender. It's like a feature of the mindset. Well, you took a loan, you gotta pay it back. It's your moral duty to pay it back. Pay back what you owe. Don't be a deadbeat. Okay, fine, get it, like it. But is it really that simple? No, it's not. Because the relationship between borrower and lender is inherently symbiotic. One cannot exist without the other. What other relationship is like that? What other fraught, sad, diseased relationship is like that? We'll add it and push it.
I hate it because it's a relationship that forces like an institutional authority over somebody. It's disgusting. I think realistically what everybody wants is anarchism, and anarchism is achieved through true wealth. So what you need is like ultra capitalism, which is just like fueling the lower class. And like how you do that, I don't exactly know. Maybe through social welfare programs to take care of some of the basic needs in people's lives is necessary. Making sure medical issue is not like a medical debt is not like a issue. Medical bankruptcy is a huge issue in the United States. Like getting rid of that, like solving that would be amazing. Getting people out of that would be amazing. Out of all the bailouts they've ever done, that was the only one worth doing. Especially considering all of like these what is it, the social policies pushed for universal Medicare was like through Obamacare and everything, and they tried to build everything off of that and made Medicare and Medi-Cal. I mean, the thing to do was to have healthcare forgiveness or something. It's insane, especially having to pay a crazy fucking amount to have a child. I get the libertarian argument of you know, being able to, this is why I say like ultra capitalism to fuel the lower class is like what you need. I don't even know what that really means though. You know, if you want to surge with the lower class because you have too many people in that, how do you get people out of that? How do you get it to the point where there's a demand for housing again, like a crazy demand? Because the demand right now is just demand from big corporatism. There's no direct policy that actually goes to the direct American born here. And it's crazy that they have always put in schools, like, you know, they're just trying to juice the money out of you, but they're trying to juice the money out of the government too, because they're trying to get scholarships not just out of the government but also out of other programs. So I had so many friends who just had so many different racial like they're able to put themselves as a minority class and able to get a scholarship off of that just for being like a percentage of a certain race. Or like being born, but if you're born white, you can't do that. If you're born American, you can't do that. Or I guess if you are born American, you can't do that. But if you come from a minority race, you're able to have what the fuck? I just gotta scroll. Open that up later. But realistically, this policy is just fueling racial hatred because you're putting another class above another. For the case of civil rights, when the whole point of the civil rights was equality. This is not equality.
Of course. You can't be
And if you're having a system that does that in the first place, put some policy into make them lower the price of the loans and stuff. Like blanket nationwide. If you want to just get rid of that like racial policy. If you want, I don't even know how people would feel about reparations being in the form of what is it? State-funded education for black people. That would be, but you have to prove like ancestry for you know, to like a slave in America, not just like you can't be from Uganda one generation for like, you know, 50 years ago. Sorry, that's not how that works.
And yet we understand the complexity of that relationship, and we punish both. In fact, we punish the drug dealer more harshly than we punish the drug addict because we understand. The drug dealer
I passed the bank up. I passed the bank up.
He's an addict. We can punish him, and by the way, throwing him in jail might be the only way to sober him up. It might save his life, and we should.
So this bitch down.
For hours. Stop breaking into my car. Got it. But the drug dealer, well, that we reserve our rage for him because he's the one doing it. He's taking advantage of the weak, and that's all true, and that's appropriate to feel that way. It's exactly right. But we don't feel that way about credit card companies, or student loan vendors, or the guys who are literally offering buy now, pay later for DoorDash. Some unemployed or underemployed college grad went to some crappy college, got a worthless degree because he believed in it. Now he can't get a job at JP Morgan. He's never going to get one. And we are telling him it's totally cool to buy sushi on credit. What? Now, he shouldn't buy sushi on credit, obviously. That's dumb. But he's a kid. Who's worse?
I have so many friends who buy so much stupid bullshit on credit. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Good evening, Friday. We love it. Resist socialism, save America. This is hilarious. This is hilarious, bro. A lot of people are finding out conservatism was one big fucking lie. It's so funny. It's always been one big lie, people. Oh my god, you got fooled. O'Connor.
The caricatures about her.
Congressman, obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of the
It is a little disgusting how he did Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Get the Epstein bills into law.
There's no way MAGA's alive anymore. It's dead. It's
And
dead.
did that discharge
America
petition.
first.
And
It's
obviously
America
that is one of
first.
the huge areas where she broke with the White House in recent weeks and months. What's your reaction to this breaking news tonight that she's resigning from Congress in January?
Well, first of all, she's shown a lot.
No, I need to more copper.
But I also think it's important that we look beyond the caricatures about her. I've gotten to know her quite well over the last 5 months. This idea that the only reason she's acting the way she is because Donald Trump refused to endorse her in a Senate race is just not the complete truth. I mean, maybe it's a small factor, but she genuinely believes against war. She was an anti-war person. She genuinely thinks AI is a real threat to jobs.
That's fucking crazy.
Moved by the survivors. I mean, she's been in tears with the survivors. And she probably has more populist instincts than J.D. Vance, who's the front runner in the Republican
Yeah,
Party.
I was saying she had way more of a chance having a primary fucking Vance, honestly. I would have picked her over.
And I actually think she's more in touch with some of the populism that fueled Donald Trump's rise than Trump and Vance are.
MAGA from oh. How happy is this guy today? I wonder. Victoria Sparks.
Or they're Jewish, and they just are Israel first. And so you've got people that are being bribed, or they're true believers, but they're not putting America first. And that's why up and down the administration, up and down and side to side, this is what you get. Covering the Epstein files.
Yeah, even I was thinking about leaving the Republican Party and switching my party to Libertarian. I think I was
officials and personnel.
I think I've always been Republican.
So it's a big problem. It needs to change. How do you change that? The American people have to apply pressure. And that's where we need to go in and say, we will not tolerate this. If Miriam Adelson is cutting checks, that means
Oh, you've seen this, okay. It is honestly crazy how many people are like, damn. I was following her too, you know? $6.9 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. Stizzy. Make sure you keep.
Wait.
70,000.
705,000?
705,000. Those had to be bots. pretty funny. Yay, level 27. Really? I just spoke to Trump on the phone. He said Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning is great news from the for the country. From the country. I think he meant for the country. Let's see. I asked him if she gave him any heads up. Nah, it doesn't matter, you know, but I think it's great. I think she should be happy. Okay, I don't think he meant it in a crazy offensive way. And I asked about President if there's a rift between the two things, but only between me and her, not her and me. What? Me and her. Not her and me. He said he has no plan to speak to her and wishes her well. The president then quickly turned to his meeting with Zoran Mamdani. He said he had a great meeting today. It was good chemistry. It's always nice to have good chemistry with people. That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, that's a wild. It's a funny political day. Marjorie Taylor Greene resigns, and Trump kisses Mamdani's ass. Interesting. Interesting. And, you know, I like all three of them, unfortunately. Yeah, she's more American first than Trump is true. True. Actually, I don't necessarily like Trump too, I guess. Shit. I mean, you know, I don't even think necessarily, like, I don't know if I feel like some people are convincing themselves when they say, like, Trump is, what is it? Like, he's just being fed bad information, that's all. It's just like, yeah, okay, he's being fed it, though. And he's eating it up. Like, okay. That's how it is. It's bad. No bueno. It's my smelting level. I'm at like 11. Let's keep it in more.
An insane idea was to kidnap him from the theater, tie him up, and then lower him from the balcony to the stage.
I can't watch this. This is crazy. No, okay, it's not that crazy, but unfortunate. I do gotta see this. We gotta. I don't know if I'm allowed to put up my reaction to this. I would if I could, though. Let that be known. I would if I could. I'll try to commentate on what he's talking about a little bit. I do like his show a lot. He deserves all the views he's getting, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't believe that. I didn't believe the whole billionaire. Oh, they're gonna pack it up. I don't think anybody really cares. Rich people don't care. Rich people can afford it. That's what people don't understand. That's why people didn't, like, when they talk about, oh, people could afford it in New York. Yeah. Hey, man, I've been saying we move out. We move out of Trump orange. Damn. It's pretty fun meeting. Ah, fanboy and Chum Chum. Yeah, true. Zoran was definitely trying to keep his, you know, his, I forget the word. You know, he's trying to keep his distance. I respect it. Yeah. Fucking disgusting. Former libertarian retard. The Trump loyal. The Trump loyalists have to be so upset over the Mamdani meeting. It's too funny. Oh my god. This might have to be one of my favorite things that happen in politics. You know, if I wasn't sold on Mom Donnie before, I was a little bit more sold now just because of how funny that shit was. I can't wait to see like the Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles response. Did he really just embrace an Islamist, jihadist, communist, fascist? Oh my god.
call it.